Chapter 344. In an instant, under the cover of the dark clouds and snow, the world was frozen. Ice, thunder, calamity. Suyu pointed to the sky. With the intent to merge with nature, it was as if Suyu was commanding the world. Rumble. A majestic heavenly might swept up the power of heaven and earth, locking onto a person under the dark clouds, Inspector by he. Creak. The 10,000 zhang long thunder dragon, containing the power to destroy the world, descended. But within the thunder dragon, there was not only thunder, there was also ice. Divine grade, divine decree. Inspector by he's expression changed. You managed to comprehend such a useless thing to its peak? However, it was precisely such a useless item that erupted with unimaginably terrifying power. Second-grade doppelganger technique. At this crucial moment, Inspector by he actually used his strongest technique. Using a third of the spirit energy in his body, Inspector by he created a clone out of thin air. The clone's abilities were 70% of his original bodies. The clone did not hesitate, standing in front of the original body to block the 10,000 zhang thunder ice dragon. Crack. But the clone did not even have the time to block the attack before it was frozen into ice. At the same time, the destructive thunder passed through, shattering the frozen clone on the spot. The thunder ice dragon did not slow down. After shattering the clone, it attacked the original body. Pooh! How could Inspector by he block such a terrifying attack? The extreme ice destroyed a large portion of his life force. The destructive thunder caused his body to explode. Looking at him, Inspector by he was badly mutilated, his entire body charred. But not a single drop of blood flowed out of his body, because his body was filled with cold energy. He was gradually turning into ice from inside out. This strike almost took away Inspector by he's life. The martial artists who turned around to look at this scene all sucked in a cold breath. Inspector by he was actually easily killed by Palace Master Inu? From the beginning, when no one paid attention to him, to his shocking battle abilities at the auction, to his current massacre in Onus City. Finally, even the Inspector of the Empire of Darkness was killed by Suyu. This kind of earth-shattering strength caused everyone to be moved. Whoosh! Suyu landed in front of Inspector by he, shaking his head in disappointment. Inspector, you gave me a chance, even your life. I am truly touched. Before he died, hearing Suyu's mockery, Inspector by he's heart was filled with hatred. Suyu! I swear, you will die a horrible death. Your good days will soon come to an end. Bang! A foot stomped down from the air, crushing the head that had been frozen into ice. Slowly withdrawing his leg, Suyu shook his head coldly. There were many people who wished for me to die a horrible death. Unfortunately, they are all dead while I am still alive. Squatting down, Suyu searched Inspector by he's robes and found a small jade box. He opened it and saw a small jade bottle lying quietly inside. It was none other than the myriad spirit creation pill. As a vice hall master, he was only qualified to consume this pill once a month. As an inspector, it was normal for Inspector by he to have this pill on him. Suyu's eyes were burning with excitement. What a pleasant surprise! He was about to make a breakthrough to Immortal Realm Level 3. The Spirit Fate Elixir had come at the right time. However, what disappointed Suyu was that there was an empty groove in the jade box. From the looks of it, it should be used to store cultivation technique. Now it was completely empty. This caused Suyu to be slightly disappointed. Inspector by he's second-grade clone technique was extremely mystical. After training, he could create clones to aid him in battle. Even though it was not as powerful as Huajilan, who could create a light clone with abilities comparable to the main body. 70% of the main body's abilities could not be underestimated. Suyu had wanted to study it, but who knew that he did not have this cultivation technique on him? It could have been destroyed by him, or it could have been hidden by him. Now that Inspector by he was dead, this cultivation technique would never be able to appear in the world again. With a flick of his finger, he destroyed Inspector Baihe's body. Suyu stood up. The demonic beast emperor was chasing after the Onua City master. It would not take long for him to return. He could not stay here for long. Whoosh! Suyu brought Tu Long with him, disappearing into the sky. The fighters who were observing the scene were unable to calm down. Before this, the name of Inu had only circulated within a small circle. But now, the entire North Continent would know of the existence of such an arrogant genius. With the abilities of a single person, he had defeated all the geniuses in Onua City. He had fought against the Tu clan alone, killing countless Tu clan members. The number of fighters that had died at his hands was innumerable. In the end, the elusive inspector also died in Suyu's hands. What he had done in Onua City would shake the entire North Continent. Under the respectful gazes of the crowd, Suyu left Onua City in a flash, disappearing without a trace. In Onua City, in the charred ruins after a huge battle, a shriveled palm suddenly crawled out from the ground. A pale old man covered in blood crawled out from the ground, his face filled with hatred. Inu, you want to kill me? You are too weak. Even Ling Xiaotian could not do it, much less you. This person was Inspector Baihe. When the second-grade clone technique was cultivated to the top class, one could create a third clone. Back then, he had used this to trick Ling Xiaotian, and succeeded again. Rubbing his chest, Inspector Baihe had a gratified expression. Thanks to this cultivation technique, I am where I am today. But at this moment, a mocking laugh could be heard. So it was hidden here. It was not easy to find. Suyu crossed his arms, calmly standing in the sky above Inspector Baihe's head, a faint smile on his face. Inspector Baihe's expression turned rigid. You. Suyu let out a cold laugh. I am merely using the same old tricks. You managed to trick Palace Master Ling once. Do you think you can trick me again? Whoosh! Suyu stepped down, stepping on the weak Inspector Baihe. Bending down, he found a jade pendant in Inspector Baihe's robes. Looking at the jade pendant, there were extremely weak words carved on it. The first line of words was, second-grade clone technique. Suyu's heart thumped. It was really this mystical cultivation technique. My cultivation technique. Inspector Baihe was both shocked and furious. Whoosh! Suyu had a thought. With a flash of light, he kept the pendant in the cosmos mirror. Inspector Baihe, since you are so generous and left me your legacy before your death, I shall not hold back. Suyu let out a faint smile. I think your wish has been fulfilled. Since that is the case, Inspector Baihe, rest in peace. Inspector Baihe spat out a mouthful of blood, his finger trembling as he pointed at Suyu. You. Pooh! This time, Suyu crushed his head once again. But his life was truly lost. An inspector of his generation had died just like that. His figure was like lightning. Suyu flew out of the city. Outskirts of the city. Tu Long bowed, extremely sincere. I am unable to repay Palace Master Inu for saving my life. He was already unable to repay Suyu's kindness. For him, Suyu had fallen into a dangerous situation. Just this kindness alone was enough for him to repay Suyu for the rest of his life. Suyu calmly shook his head. I only seek to have a clear conscience when I do things. You need not take it to heart. Onua City is no longer safe. You should leave quickly. We shall part ways here. I hope that you can find another home. Suyu sighed with emotion as they were about to part ways. Tu Long let out a light smile. We shall part ways here. I will not be able to rest in peace. Before I leave, I will give Palace Master Inu a gift. I hope that you will not reject it. After saying this, Tu Long pointed a finger at his chest. Using his finger, he took out a drop of fresh blood. Blood from the heart. Everyone only had one drop of blood from the heart. To a martial artist, it was the source of his blood. Once it was lost, his body would never be strengthened, and his cultivation level would not improve. Do you know the origin of the 10,000 soldier liquid? Tu Long said slowly. Su Yu shook his head. This is a secret of the Tu clan. How would an outsider know? Tu Long smiled. The nature-defying ability of the 10,000 soldier liquid is actually the power of the Tu clan's bloodline. Su Yu knew about this. It was rumored that the Tu clan's bloodline was special, which allowed them to control the nature-defying ability of cleansing divine artifacts. Since it is the power of the bloodline, then the nature of the 10,000 soldier liquid is obvious. It is actually the blood of the Tu clan, the only blood from the heart. The fallen members of the Tu clan would offer their blood from the heart in advance, becoming the 10,000 soldier liquid for the clan. Only the blood from the heart of the master of the family would be pure. Hence, there are very few of them. Tu Long raised the blood from his heart. I am the descendant of the previous master of the family. The blood from my heart is considered pure. Even though it is not as strong as the bloodline of the master, it is 80% pure. It is equivalent to 8 drops of diluted 10,000 soldier liquid. This blood is a parting gift from me, Tu Long. It is also my way of returning the favor. Palace Master Inu, if it is for my own good, please do not reject it. Without any explanation, Tu Long stuffed it into Su Yu's palm. Su Yu was shocked by the true nature of the 10,000 soldier liquid. He was even more shocked by Tu Long's decisiveness. This was equivalent to Tu Long sacrificing his own future. But Su Yu understood that Tu Long had lost his determination to the martial path and was no longer interested in it. This blood was his way of returning the favor. If Su Yu did not accept it, he would never be able to forget Su Yu's favor for the rest of his life. I accept it. Thank you. Tu Long laughed. Since that is the case, I have no more worries. Inu, we will meet again. Su Yu cupped his fists, the two of them disappearing into the horizon, never to meet again. An hour later, the demonic beast emperor returned. She stared at the empty city, her face filled with disdain. She flapped her wings, creating a gale. Anua City, which had stood tall in the dark forest for hundreds of years, was reduced to ashes by the gale. Golden Silk Demonic Beast Emperor, did you capture the Anua City Master alive? At this moment, a handsome young man, followed by a green-robed elder, descended above Anua City and questioned coldly. The Golden Silk Demonic Beast Emperor looked at him with disdain, calmly saying, "He escaped. As the Tu clan master, he possessed many divine artifacts. It was hard for outsiders to guess. Even though the abilities of the Golden Silk Demonic Beast Emperor were strong, she might not be able to defeat the Anua City Master in terms of technique." The young man's eyebrows twitched, then relaxed. "Forget it, don't bother about him. I asked you to take action to announce to the world that the Wu family is about to appear." The green-robed elder behind him revealed a look of anticipation. "Haha, I have already sent the invitation letter for the wedding of young Master and Miss Mo Wu to the various powerhouses of the North Continent. I believe that it will be a grand event of the North Continent." Chapter 345. If Su Yu had been there, he would have recognized that the green-robed elder was none other than Senior Huang. The young master before him was Wu Yaoyue. During the alliance meet, Wu Yaoyue had shocked the world, defeating many talents of the 100 Territories Alliance and becoming a dark horse. He had fought for first place, hoping to obtain the flesh regeneration elixir. But he had lost to Lu Jun, who had hidden his identity, and given up. He had not obtained first place, losing the chance to obtain the elixir. After that, he had sent the green-robed elder beside him, Senior Huang, to kill Su Yu and steal the elixir. But today, he had appeared here. Wu Yaoyue hugged his sword, his expression brimming with confidence. "Humph, the Wu clan will eventually shake the world and return to the mortal realm. Why would we need a wedding celebration? I merely want to announce to the world that Mo Wu belongs to me, Wu Yaoyue. No matter who she has liked, no matter who she likes, she belongs to her. From now on, she is my woman." Senior Huang's wrinkled face shook. "Haha, since ancient times, beauties have been paired with heroes. Miss Mo Wu is a good match for the young master. In this world, other than the young master, no one is worthy of her. Wu Yaoyue was proud. Of course. Looking around, Wu Yaoyue shook his head. Let's go back and prepare. The Wu clan's return to the mortal realm requires a baptism of blood to announce to the world that we have returned. In half a month, Su Yu did not stop, heading straight for the sub-palace. Along the way, he consumed the Spirit Fate Elixir. This was the third Spirit Fate Elixir that Su Yu had consumed. Its effects had been greatly reduced, far from the heaven-defying effects of the first time. Su Yu had only broken through the level 3 bottleneck from Immortal Realm level 2 peak to Immortal Realm level 3 upper tier, rising by 2 levels. The heaven-defying effects of the Spirit Fate Elixir had fallen from its pedestal. But Su Yu was already very satisfied. A normal Deputy Palace Master could only consume 1 Spirit Fate Elixir a month, but Su Yu had already consumed 3. His cultivation level was even more unbelievable. In a short 2 months, he had broken through from Dragon Realm level 7 to Immortal Realm level 3 upper tier. Such progress was practically unprecedented in the Northern Continent's sub-palace. Of course, if it was just a breakthrough in cultivation level, it would not be much. More importantly, Su Yu's cultivation techniques were also shocking. His immortal level cultivation method, legendary cultivation method, and divine will had all improved tremendously. Recently, he had even obtained the second-grade clone technique that the Admiral was cultivating. After half a month of comprehension, Su Yu realized that this immortal-level cultivation technique was surprisingly easy to comprehend. Perhaps it was because of the illusory glazed pond in the training ground, which cleansed his soul, that Su Yu's heart was clear and bright. Hence, he was able to comprehend the illusory glazed pond without any obstructions. In just half a month, he had made a huge breakthrough. This second-grade clone technique was a remnant of an immortal-level cultivation technique. There were only 2 levels to it, and the third level was nowhere to be found. With Inspector Baihe's status, it was not difficult for him to cultivate a complete immortal-level technique. However, he chose a remnant of a scroll. It was obvious that this scroll was extraordinary. Su Yu trained hard for half a month and achieved Stage 1 top class. He could use 30% of his Spirit Chi to form a Spirit Chi doppelganger that had 70% of his battle prowess. His cultivation base had reached Immortal Level 3 lower tier, which was only 1 tier lower than his main body's Immortal Level 3 upper tier. The only flaw was that the doppelganger couldn't use the main body's cultivation technique, so he had to choose another cultivation technique for it. However, even without cultivating any cultivation techniques, the doppelganger's battle prowess was still shocking. Finally, what caused Su Yu to be pleasantly surprised was that Buddhist Saint's 8 characters had finally achieved a breakthrough. On a stormy night, Su Yu suddenly had an epiphany. He had successfully entered the lower class from the beginner level. He had comprehended the second word of the Buddhist Saint's 8 characters, army. In terms of power, army was far superior to forest. If the two were to be compared, it would be like a small stream versus a vast ocean. Su Yu could still remember that when he said army, the lightning that descended upon the world was forced to retreat in fear. Everything within a 10-mile radius was flattened by the word army. Even Su Yu himself felt a lingering fear at the terrifying power of the heavens. Did legendary-level cultivation techniques really belong to the Zhenlong continent? Just Stage 1 lower class could create heavenly might. Such a cultivation technique that fought against the power of the heavens was too nature-defying. If he could cultivate it to its peak, wouldn't he be able to rule the world? This was another doubt in Su Yu's mind. Apart from that, Su Yu was also satisfied with 9 fingers of imaginary thunder. This cultivation technique was only a thin layer away from Stage 2. All of his comprehension had been perfected. All he needed to do was to temper himself in battle, and he would naturally break through to Stage 2 upper class. The power of Stage 1 Thunder Starfinger was already extraordinary. Suyu was filled with anticipation as to what kind of new state the second stage would be. Finally, it was Heaven's Son gazing at air. It had long been cultivated to upper class, but was unable to break through to Stage 1 upper class. But recently, Suyu had a feeling that he was close to reaching Stage 1 upper class. Once he cultivated it to upper class, he would be able to activate the Soul Battle mode. Suyu was filled with anticipation as to what kind of state it would be. Whoosh, the wind howled. Suyu left a trail of afterimages in the air. A few days later, he returned to the center of the palace. Lingxiao Palace. Palace Master, I have returned. Suyu naturally had to greet the Palace Master upon his return. When Suyu greeted him, Ling Xiaotian was deep in thought with his hands behind his back. His brows were tightly knitted, and it was not difficult to see his worry. Hearing this, Ling Xiaotian turned and revealed a faint smile. It is good that you have returned safely. Observing Suyu's cultivation level, Ling Xiaotian's face had an additional look of gratification. You did not disappoint me. The improvement of Suyu's cultivation level could not be hidden from his eyes. Suyu smiled bashfully, feeling grateful. It is all thanks to the Palace Master's guidance. Suyu knew that Ling Xiaotian had helped him greatly. If he had trained alone, how could he have had so many opportunities? Perhaps the current him had not even broken through to Immortal Realm. Palace Master, I have something to report to you, Suyu said seriously. Ling Xiaotian smiled. Is it about the two clan? There is no need to think about it. They have the guts to attempt to harm the Deputy Palace Master. It looks like the two clan has lived too peacefully in the past 100 years, and they have forgotten that they are at death's door. In a few days, follow me to Anua City. I will personally seek justice for you. They injured you with their palms and caused you to bleed. I will make them pay for it tenfold. Suyu's heart was filled with warmth. He had relied on the Lucian faction and the North Continent's sub-palace, but the treatment he received was worlds apart. The Lucian faction did not care about his life. If not for Suyu's good luck, he would have become a cold corpse. In fact, the entire Lucian faction wanted to kill him for the treasure that they did not know what it was. Comparing the two, Ling Xiaotian's kindness could be imagined. Palace Master, there is no need. Suyu shook his head. Ling Xiaotian said coldly. The people of the North Continent's sub-palace do not have the habit of swallowing insults when bullied. This Palace Master will definitely seek justice for you tenfold. Suyu's expression turned serious. This is what I wanted to report to you. Anua City is destroyed. What? Ling Xiaotian's pupils dilated, finally realizing the severity of the matter. Tell me the details. Following which, Suyu told him everything he had seen and heard. A demonic beast emperor descended? Ling Xiaotian's expression turned serious. From what I know, there are less than 10 demonic beast emperors in the entire continent. 9 of them are in the north, south, east, and west of the 3 more prosperous continents. They occupy an area and call themselves kings. The North Continent is barren, and there is only one. That is the Golden Silk Demonic Beast Emperor. It occupies the center of the Forest of Darkness and commands the demonic beasts of the North Continent. It is extremely powerful. Even I, without the Palace Garrison Divine Artifact, would not be its match. Why would such a demonic beast emperor appear on the continent? Suyu thought for a moment, then said seriously, There is one more thing. This demonic beast emperor mentioned my master. Master? You mean to say that it has another master? Ling Xiaotian was unprecedentedly serious. Gasping, Ling Xiaotian said seriously, I'm afraid we will have to inform the king. This matter is no longer within the jurisdiction of the sub-palace. Chapter 346. Suyu felt the urgency of the situation. What kind of danger did the appearance of the demonic beast emperor signify? That's right, there is one more thing I need to report to the palace master. I killed Inspector Bai He, Suyu said. Ling Xiaotian was surprised, his eyes glowing. That old thing escaped from the divine artifact. Furthermore, he dared to follow you and plot against you? Ling Xiaotian said coldly. He should be glad that you killed him. If not, I would personally hunt him down and let him know what it means to have no way out. Hearing this, Suyu heaved a sigh of relief. It looked like killing Inspector Bai He would not be a problem. If there is nothing else, I will return to the Inu area. I have not returned for a month, I wonder how the area is. Suyu said his goodbyes. Wait. Ling Xiaotian stopped Suyu. Do you remember what I said to you before the training? Ling Xiaotian said. Suyu tried his best to recall, suddenly remembering. Palace Master said that after we return from the training, there will be another important task for us. With a smile, Ling Xiaotian nodded. That's right. Letting you train is to prepare for this. Palace Master, please instruct me. Suyu was stern. Ling Xiaotian smiled but did not speak. Do not be nervous. We are not executing a mission, but participating in a meeting. What meeting? Suyu was confused. The Northern Continent's Phoenix Meet. Ling Xiaotian said. Phoenix Meet? Suyu was confused. What meeting is this? Is it very famous? For it to be named the North Continent, it was obvious how important it was. Ling Xiaotian's lips twitched. He then remembered that Suyu came from a remote coastal area and naturally did not know about the North Continent's grand event. The Phoenix Meet is held once every 10 years. The invitees are the most outstanding youths of the North Continent. All the outstanding men are gathered here. Suyu was a little disappointed. Another competition? Suyu was not interested in a meaningless competition. It would be more meaningful for him to focus on training. No. Ling Xiaotian's reply was unexpected. It is a matchmaking session. Matchmaking session? Suyu almost bit his tongue. This was a matchmaking session. In that case, he was even less interested. Thank you for your kind intentions, Hall Master, but I think I might not need it. He already had Xian so how could he participate in the blind date? Haha, are you not worried that your fiancé might be snatched away by someone else? Ling Xiaotian said with a faint smile. Suyu was slightly stunned. He repeated the name of the Phoenix Meet. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning flashed past his mind. It's a male youth from the continent going on a blind date with the Phoenix Cabinet? Ling Xiaotian nodded. That's right. The Phoenix Cabinet has always only recruited female disciples. There is a lack of males in the cabinet, and outstanding female disciples have been married off all year round, resulting in a loss of talent. Thus, the Phoenix Cabinet took the initiative to hold the Phoenix Meet to find a spouse for the female disciples of the Phoenix Cabinet. Under the matchmaking, not only would the female disciples of the Phoenix Cabinet stay, they would also be able to attract some outstanding male disciples from the other sex, killing two birds with one stone. As for the Northern Continent's talented youths, they are also passionate about finding companions in the Phoenix Cabinet. The female disciples of the Phoenix Cabinet are not only the gathering place of the Northern Continent's most outstanding females, but their appearances are also extraordinary. During this meet, if anyone takes a liking to your fiancé, and the Phoenix Cabinet agrees, the relationship between you and your fiancé might be severed by the Phoenix Cabinet. At that time, she would be someone else's spouse. Are you willing to do that? Suyu was shocked. But, don't we need the approval of the female disciples? Ling Xiaotian shook his head. Of course not. If it is about mutual affection, it would be difficult to find even 1 in 100 people who are in love with each other. If that is the case, what is the point of the Phoenix Cabinet painstakingly holding the blind date? As long as the male's performance meets the Phoenix Cabinet standards, the female disciple that takes a liking to the male will be betrothed to him. As for an individual's will, in front of the faction, it is insignificant. Thus, if a suitable person appears for your fiancé, I'm sure the Phoenix Cabinet will not mind severing the relationship between you and your fiancé. Suyu was shocked. Disregarding Xian Er's potential, just based on her cute appearance, she would still be fought over by many geniuses. At that time, if there was someone who met the requirements of the Phoenix Cabinet, what awaited Suyu was an annulment letter. Even though Xian was pure, she was stubborn and determined. If she was forced to accept such a reality, she might end her own life. In the past, when she was forced to marry Chao Xian in the Lucian faction, she had wanted to commit suicide many times. Suyu did not want the same thing to happen again. Xian was his fiancée. No one was allowed to touch her. Looks like you have thought it through. Prepare yourself over the next few days. When the time comes, there might be a few fierce battles. Suyu said, what kind of competition will it be? Could it be that, if a few people take a liking to the same person, they will have to fight for her with their abilities? Ling Xiaotian nodded. That's right. First, there will be an elimination competition. Only the top 100 will have the right to choose a female disciple that catches their eye. After that, if they take a liking to the same person, they will fight for her hand in hand. The one with the highest abilities will be able to win the heart of the beauty. In this meet, all the powerhouses of the North Continent will send their most outstanding male disciples to participate. Over the years, it has become a competition for the young elites of the North Continent. On the surface, it is a marriage match, but in reality, it is a gathering for the various factions to display their potential. The reputation that you obtain will affect the honor of the Empire of Darkness. Hence, I hope that you will participate seriously. Suyu's eyes were filled with determination. Palace Master, don't worry. I will fight with all my might. Even if it was not to repay Ling Xiaotian, Suyu would fight with his life on the line for Xian. Alright, go back and prepare. In 3 days, you, along with the first Deputy Palace Master, second Deputy Palace Master, and third Deputy Palace Master, will represent the North Continent's sub-palace to participate in the meet. Suyu nodded, turning to leave. Half a day later, in the Inu area, outside the Palace Master's manor in Inu City, the atmosphere was solemn. A large group of guards stood within the manor in fear and trepidation. A bald young man of about 24 or 25 years old, wearing a long robe made of beast skin. He had thick black eyebrows, and his eyes were like copper bells. Looking at him, he gave off a savage and fierce feeling. He stood outside the manor with his hands behind his back, surveying the surroundings. The guards did not even dare to breathe loudly. In fact, they did not even dare to raise their heads to look at him. This was because of his illustrious status. Third Deputy Palace Master Yin Yu has yet to return. If there is anything, I can pass the message on his behalf, Ziyun Xiang calmly said. The bald young man in front of her was Deputy Palace Master Xiao Guang, ranked third among the 10 great Deputy Palace Masters. He had suddenly descended upon the Inu area, requesting for Suyu to come out and see him. Hearing this, Xiao Guang glanced at her. Who do you think you are to pass the message on my behalf? I'll say it again, get him to come out and see me. Xiao Guang repeated. Ziyun Xiang was neither servile nor overbearing. I'll say it again, Palace Master Yin Yu is not in the manor. If you do not wish for me to pass the message on your behalf, then wait patiently outside. Xiao Guang creased his brows. Ask me to wait? Is a child like him worthy? I want to see him. Even if he is at the ends of the earth, he has to come out. Furthermore, he is training with all of you. All of you have returned, but he is outside? Don't test my patience. Get him to come out and see me. Ziyun Xiang shook her head. She could not be bothered with such an unreasonable person. Close the door. Turning to return to the manor, Ziyun Xiang calmly said. Being ignored by Ziyun Xiang, Xiao Guang was stunned. He did not expect a lady in Su Yu's manor to be so daring, to embarrass him in front of everyone. Following this, A layer of evil energy flickered between his brows. His anger was evident. A mere servant dares to be so insolent in front of me. Do you still care about the hierarchy in your eyes? Squinting, Xiao Guang looked around the Inu manor, his eyes glowing with a cold light. From the looks of it, this Inu manor, from the master to the servants, lacks discipline. I would like to see where you, Inu, get your confidence from to refuse to see me. Crash, Xiao Guang lifted his leg and kicked the door of the Inu manor. Even for an immortal realm level 3 upper tier like him, a mere door was like a piece of paper. The giant door was sent flying 100 zhang away, crashing into the manor. Miss Z, be careful. The expressions of the guards changed, hurriedly pulling Zi Yunxiang away. But a few of the guards were also trapped by the giant door, unable to escape in time. Blood-curdling screams rang out one after another, and the mournful wails were endless. Looking over, 3 Dragon Realm guards were squashed beneath the giant door. The one in the middle was squashed into meat paste, dying on the spot. The 2 guards on the left and right had half of their bodies crushed, crying out in pain. The bloody and cruel scene caused the female servants in the manor to scream in fear, fleeing in fear. The group of guards dared not say anything, staying far away from Xiao Guang. Xiao Guang looked forward, not paying any attention to the 3 of them. A bunch of useless things. What kind of master has what kind of servant? Xiao Guang said with disdain, taking big steps into the manor. Wait. Zi Yunxiang had just calmed down, her chest rising and falling. It was unknown whether she was angry or shocked. Palace Master Xiao Guang, please conduct yourself with dignity. Barging into the Inu manor and killing the innocent, Palace Master Yin will not be happy. Not only would he be unhappy, Su Yu would be completely furious. Joke? Do I, Xiao Guang, need to care about his mood when I do things? Palace Master Xiao Guang stepped into the manor, his cold eyes looking around. He grabbed with his hand, sending 5 bolts of spirit energy flying in all directions. Rumble, crash, at once dust flew into the sky, the houses collapsing. Half of the houses in the Inu manor had been turned into ruins by his attack. The remaining half were the houses of the servants. Is he really not here? Palace Master Xiao Guang raised his brows. Zi Yunxiang looked at the ruins of the Inu manor, unable to contain her anger. Palace Master Xiao Guang, you did this on purpose. Palace Master Inu has no feud with you. Why are you bullying him? Palace Master Xiao Guang turned his head, glaring fiercely. Do I need a lowly servant to question me when I do things? Since he is not here, when he returns, immediately inform him to see me within 3 days. If not, he will bear the consequences. Xiao Guang flicked his sleeves, turning to leave. As he passed by Zi Yunxiang, he grabbed her neck. As for you, follow me back to the Xiao Guang area. Before Yin takes you away, I will teach you a lesson. He was using Zi Yunxiang as a hostage. Such arrogance, such arrogance. The normal guards did not dare to retaliate. Palace Master Xiao Guang, don't you think your actions are unbefitting of your status? At this moment, an old voice could be heard. It was Fan Haixing, cupping his fist. Palace Master Xiao Guang's gaze swept past him, as if he was looking at air. With a wave of his hand, a wild force sent Fan Haixing flying 100 meters away, smashing a wall. A trickle of blood flowed from the corner of Fan Haixing's mouth. He lay in the ruins, unable to move. Elder Fan! Zi Yunxiang shouted, her eyes filled with hatred. You bastard! Palace Master Xiao Guang grunted. You will die sooner or later if you do not know how to appreciate favors. You might as well die by my hands, lest you waste the Empire's resources. Let's go. Palace Master Xiao Guang strode out of the Inu manor. However, right at this moment, a surging voice that sounded like the might of the heavens came from the horizon, and majestically pressed down. Haha, Palace Master Xiao Guang, you killed my people, destroyed my manor, and took me hostage. Are you begging me to kill you? Dozens of miles away, Su Yu revolved his crystalline pupils, seeing everything. Chapter 347. He did not expect that someone would come knocking on his door after he returned half a month later. What made Su Yu even more furious was that if it was someone like Palace Master Infang, who had a grudge against him, he could understand. But Palace Master Xiao Guang had no grudge against him. They had never even met and had no ties. But Palace Master Xiao Guang had come knocking on his door, killed his guards, destroyed his mansion, and captured his people to train. Even if he was dealing with a normal person, he should not have looked down on him. Furthermore, Su Yu was also one of the 10 great deputy palace masters, and they would meet sooner or later. In his eyes, what was Su Yu? A beast that could be killed at any time, without any dignity? Palace Master Xiao Guang raised his head to look at the sky, at the rapidly approaching Su Yu. He pushed Zi Yunxiang away, a mocking expression on his face. Coward! Even though you are nothing in front of me, you hid until now. As his people, you are truly pitiful. In his heart, he stubbornly believed that Su Yu had returned long ago, and was hiding because he was afraid of him. Zi Yunxiang staggered and fell to the ground, her snow-white face filled with pleasant surprise. Her grievances and indignation disappeared at this moment. Su Yu had finally returned safely from the chaotic Anyu city. His heart, which had been hanging by a thread for many days, was finally at ease. If he was a coward, there would be no brave people in the world. You do not understand him. Zi Yunxiang shook her head, revealing a gentle smile. Her beautiful eyes stared at the approaching figure in the sky, not looking away in the slightest. Brave? Him? If we were to compare the size of his voice, his bravado, and his murderous intent, your Palace Master Yin Yu is the bravest. Palace Master Xiao Guang crossed his arms and laughed coldly. He looked down on Su Yu from the bottom of his heart. Zi Yunxiang's gentle smile remained. So, you do not understand him. Palace Master Xiao Guang snorted disdainfully, silently waiting for Su Yu to land. Not long after, Su Yu arrived in the sky above the Yin Manor. Looking down, the collapsed ruins and the guards who had died tragically were all clear and striking to the eye. Hall Master Xiao Guang raised his head coldly and arrogantly. All right, since you've managed to muster that bit of courage to stand in front of me with great difficulty, this Hall Master can't be bothered to break your last layer of self-respect. Pack your things and follow me. After saying this, he did not bother to look at Su Yu, turning to walk out of the manor. Chila, all of a sudden, a piercingly cold gust of wind shot toward Su Yu. Hall Master Xiao Guang was slightly taken aback. What are you doing? It was Su Yu who had descended from the sky without hesitation and struck out with his palm. Are you deaf? I've already said it. Since you're seeking death, I'll naturally fulfill your wish. Su Yu's whole body was enveloped by a layer of fluorescent light. The light flickered, dazzling the world, and he struck a palm toward Palace Master Xiao Guang. Palace Master Xiao Guang laughed in surprise. Have you gone mad from the stimulation? Everything has to be done according to one's capabilities. Someone like you who's just there to make up the numbers should have the awareness of making up the numbers. Rashly attacking an existence like me, you're either crazy or stupid. Palace Master Xiao Guang casually extended his palm, easily dealing with the attack. Forget it. To a person like you, who has never seen the power of an immortal level 3, you will not be able to understand what it means to attack me. This time, I'll teach you a lesson. Remember to grow some brains next time. Crackle. The two quickly exchanged blows. However, at the moment when they exchanged blows, Palace Master Xiao Guang's relaxed expression froze abruptly. He was shocked. Immortal level 3 lower tier cultivation base? You actually had a breakthrough. With the exchange imminent, Palace Master Xiao Guang did not have the time to raise his spirit energy. Caught off guard, he took the attack head-on. Crack! The sound of bones cracking could be heard from his palm. Palace Master Xiao Guang himself took 3 steps back. The blood in his body surged, his throat tasting blood. In his carelessness, he had suffered quite a bit. Su Yu landed lightly on the ground. Under the hazy glow, his expression could not be seen clearly. However, his disdainful voice could be heard. Immortal Level 3 is very impressive? You treat Immortal Level 3 as an impressive realm. You are arrogant. Only second-rate fighters who are weaker than you but stronger than you are would be like that. Hearing this, Palace Master Xiao Guang sneered. Relying on the element of surprise and taking advantage of others, you become arrogant? Has no one ever taught you how to imitate others? I can be arrogant because I have the ability to look down on others. You are arrogant because you are a clown. Palace Master Xiao Guang's eyes were filled with disdain. Su Yu calmly shook his head. Those who are weaker than you are clowns. If you are arrogant, you are looking down on others. Based on what you said, in front of stronger fighters, you are also a clown. It is most appropriate to say that you are a second-rate fighter who is weaker than you but stronger than you. Palace Master Xiao Guang's expression was a little stiff. I do not care what others think of me, nor do I want to know. The only thing I can tell you is that the current you is a clown in front of me. We are both Immortal Level 3, but you will not understand the difference between lower tier and upper tier. Relying on the element of surprise and taking advantage of others is your limit. I will now teach you how big the difference between lower tier and upper tier is. Palace Master Xiao Guang let out a low grunt, attacking fiercely. 6 illusions. Palace Master Xiao Guang's spirit energy surged, forming 6 illusory figures around him. Looking at it, they looked like 6 human figures, difficult to distinguish between real and fake. As he attacked with his palms, the power of his palms overlapped, unable to differentiate between real and fake. It was as if it could topple the mountains and overturn the seas, oppressive. Su Yu did not say a word, dealing with it with all his might. He did not use any techniques, relying solely on his battle experience and spirit energy to deal with the attack. Even though the abilities he displayed were far from Immortal Level 3 upper tier, with his rich battle experience, he was able to take on the fierce attack. 1 move, 2 moves, 3 moves. After 19 moves, Palace Master Xiao Guang's attacks became fiercer as time passed. On the other hand, Su Yu was gradually unable to hold on. In the end, he could only barely deal with the attacks. Palace Master Xiao Guang let out a low grunt. This is the end. Rumble. Palace Master Xiao Guang's spirit energy suddenly increased, his abilities rising to their peak. Under the fierce attacks, Su Yu could no longer defend himself, being struck in the chest by a palm. Thump! Su Yu was sent flying hundreds of meters away, crashing heavily into the ruins. Palace Master Inu. The Inu manor was filled with cries of shock. Their palace master had been defeated. Furthermore, he had been defeated so cleanly. The image of the invincible palace master in the hearts of countless people had collapsed. Since Palace Master Inu had taken office, when had he ever been defeated? From Palace Master Feng Qing to Palace Master Shui Yao to the Black Water Pirates, when had Palace Master Inu not surprised everyone, killing strong enemies with an invincible stance? Now that he had been defeated, they could not accept it. Palace Master Xiao Guang slowly retracted his spirit energy, calming his churning blood. He was extremely shocked. Even though Su Yu's cultivation level was far weaker than his battle experience was abnormally rich. Without any techniques, Su Yu had withstood 20 moves. Only when Palace Master Xiao Guang used his full strength did Su Yu not expand beyond 20 moves. Under the circumstances where there was a difference in cultivation level, such a result would definitely be mocked. Thinking to this point, Palace Master Xiao Guang's expression turned gloomy. Very well. You should be proud of yourself for withstanding 20 moves with your experience. But that is all. Do you see this? This is the difference between lower tier and upper tier. In front of me, you only have the right to look up to me. Palace Master Xiao Guang stared at Su Yu coldly. If you understand what kind of trash you are, then shut your mouth and follow me. Don't jump up and down like a clown. Turning his head slightly, Palace Master Xiao Guang turned his body once again, heading out of the Inu Manor. Chapter 348. Because, under the tree in front of them, there was a youth in a white robe standing leisurely in the wind. Beneath the mask was a handsome face that did not belong to the mortal world. His silver hair fluttered in the wind, like a celestial being. The people of the Inu Manor were attracted by Palace Master Xiao Guang's strange expression. Following his gaze, they could not help but be shocked. That face, that figure, who else could it be but Palace Master Inu? Palace Master Inu! It's our Palace Master Inu! My God, what's going on? Why is he not injured? What? Palace Master Inu? Palace Master Xiao Guang was at a loss. If he was Palace Master Inu, then who was the glowing person who fought him? Humph! What is the Inu Manor doing? Could it be that the real Palace Master Inu is still hiding somewhere, like a cowardly tortoise? Beneath the tree, Su Yu had a calm expression. Palace Master Xiao Guang, how did it feel to fight my clone? Clone? The people of the Inu Manor were shocked. That fluorescent figure just now was actually Palace Master Inu's clone. Among the 10 great deputy palace masters, there was only one deputy palace master with a clone. That was Palace Master Zhilan. Palace Master Inu had such a secret technique. Palace Master Xiao Guang was equally shocked. What shocked him the most was that the person whom he had fought so hard just now, and it took him 20 moves to defeat, was just Su Yu's clone. Normally speaking, the clone's abilities were far weaker than the main body. If the clone had such terrifying abilities, how powerful would the main body be? Whoosh! The clone Su Yu's body glowed, turning into spirit energy and returning to Su Yu's body. Su Yu looked at Palace Master Xiao Guang indifferently. I have already seen the difference between lower tier and upper tier. Now please let me see how big the difference in abilities between Immortal Level 3 upper tier is. Palace Master Xiao Guang clenched his teeth, his gaze cold. Palace Master Inu, I came to find you to discuss something. What is the meaning of your unreasonable actions? Hearing this, Su Yu calmly looked at the destroyed manor, the guards who were severely injured, and the shocked Zi Yunxiang, calmly saying, "This is your discussion? In this world, who would want to discuss matters with someone and act as if they were mortal enemies? Who would destroy the other party's mansion, kill the other party's people, and take the other party hostage?" He was merely afraid of Su Yu's abilities, which was why he had changed his attitude at the last moment. Unfortunately, he was too domineering in the past. His current change was extremely ironic. Awkwardness flashed across Palace Master Xiao Guang's face. It was your subordinates who were disrespectful to me first, causing me to be unnecessarily angry and causing some damage to your residence, as well as the deaths of a few guards. Hearing this, the people of the Inu Manor could not help but be furious. It was clearly Hall Master Xiao Guang who had barged in without listening to the other party's advice. He did not care about their lives, killed them as he wished, and casually destroyed half of the Inu Manor. From the beginning to the end, who had ever disrespected him? With his status as the third palace master, no one dared to be rude to him. But now, they were accusing him of offending and angering him. Zi Yunxiang said, "Hall Master, it was Hall Master Xiao Guang who barged in. We had no ill intentions towards him. Hall Master, please investigate this clearly." "Shut up. Do you have the right to interrupt when I am speaking?" Palace Master Xiao Guang let out a cold grunt. "I am a vice palace master, would I accuse you wrongly? Between a subordinate and a vice palace master, who should he trust more?" The answer was naturally the latter. But it was a pity that the person standing in front of him was Su Yu. "Oh, is that so?" Su Yu calmly said, taking a step forward from under the tree. Palace Master Xiao Guang said cautiously, "Why, you don't believe me? You would rather believe a subordinate than me, who is also one of the 10 great vice palace masters. Su Yu shook his head. I believe you. Naturally, I am willing to believe you. Perhaps it was really my subordinate who angered you with his words, causing this misunderstanding. Hearing this, Palace Master Xiao Guang secretly heaved a sigh of relief. The hearts of the people of the Inu Manor turned cold. How could this be? Didn't Palace Master Inu always shield his own people? Could it be that Palace Master Xiao Guang in front of him was someone he did not want to offend? But before Palace Master Xiao Guang could relax, Su Yu's tone turned cold. But even if my subordinate offended you, so what? Not only did he offend you with his words, even if he injured you, you had to endure it. Injuring them, destroying my manor, taking hostages, humph, no one can save you. How could he believe Palace Master Xiao Guang? He knew Zi Yunxiang's character better than anyone else. She would not be arrogant and despotic. As for the rest of the people, who would have the guts to go against the third deputy palace master? Now, the villain was the first to complain, accusing his subordinate of offending him first. The 180-degree turn of events caused Palace Master Xiao Guang's expression to turn serious, extremely ugly. Inu, you really want to be my enemy? Su Yu's expression was indifferent. Be your enemy? Do you think you have the right to be my enemy? Su Yu had personally killed a few Immortal Realm Level 3 upper tiers, much less seen them. It was laughable that Palace Master Xiao Guang thought that Su Yu had never seen the power of an Immortal Realm Level 3. Inu, don't be arrogant. Once I get serious, it will be too late for you to regret it. Palace Master Xiao Guang was furious. Even though he feared Su Yu, he did not think that he was much weaker than Su Yu. Palace Master Xiao Guang's dignity had been humiliated by such blatant disdain. How could he agree to it? Arrogant? In terms of arrogance, I have not reached the stage of destroying someone's manor, killing their guards, and taking hostages. Su Yu walked over quickly, looking slow but actually fast. Get serious, I want to see how you will make me regret it. Su Yu mocked disdainfully. The veins on Palace Master Xiao Guang's forehead throbbed, his expression completely dark. Inu, you forced me to do this. 6 illusions. He once again displayed his signature move, but it was an all-out attack. He no longer dared to underestimate Su Yu in the slightest. Layers of illusions closed in on Su Yu. The piercingly cold wind contained an unparalleled power, sweeping over with the power of heaven and earth. The group of guards retreated in a hurry, avoiding being embroiled in this inhuman battle. Su Yu's expression was calm, his hands still behind his back. Make your move. I want to see just how powerful your cultivation technique is. Su Yu extended his hand, but only gathered spirit energy. He shook his head. Do I need to use a cultivation technique to deal with you? You think too highly of yourself. Rumble. Su Yu's ordinary palm caused Palace Master Xiao Guang to retreat 10 steps. One used a cultivation technique, the other merely used spirit energy. With the same cultivation level, the effects were shocking. Palace Master Xiao Guang secretly gasped. Su Yu's cultivation level was at level 3 upper tier. Furthermore, it was very close to peak. His scalp turned numb, his heart uneasy. Palace Master Xiao Guang's eyes flashed with humiliation. He forcefully endured the humiliation, using the opportunity of being forced back to retreat. He fixed his gaze on Su Yu, cupping his fists as he retreated. Palace Master Inu's reputation is well deserved, I admit defeat. This battle shall end here, I shall take my leave. Chapter 349. Sparring? What a joke. If Su Yu's abilities were below his, if Su Yu was as useless as he thought, if Su Yu could not even withstand a single blow, would Palace Master Xiao Guang treat this as a sparring match? He must have realized that Su Yu was stronger than he had expected, and chose to escape, knowing that he was no match for Su Yu. Hearing this, Palace Master Xiao Guang finally realized that Su Yu's murderous intent was not just shouting. Thinking back to those words, he finally understood the coldness in those words. That was the coldness of death. Wait. I merely had good intentions, looking for you to discuss the Phoenix meet 3 days from now. During that time, I had a misunderstanding with your people, and accidentally destroyed your mansion and injured a few people. Is there a need to fight to the death? Even at this moment, he was not remorseful, attempting to quibble. Su Yu's robe flickered, his figure turning into a blur, disappearing on the spot. When he reappeared, he was a purple light that illuminated the heavens, making his cold face look like the king of heaven. A bolt of lightning flashed, destroying everything in its path, including Palace Master Xiao Guang. Drawing a beautiful arc in the air, his body was sent 10 meters into the ground by Su Yu. A burnt smell filled the Inu manor, amidst the crackling of the remaining lightning. That was the smell of burnt flesh. Looking down, at the bottom of the cavern, there was a charred, mangled corpse lying at the bottom of the cavern. There was only a single breath left in its mouth. The people of the Inu manor gasped. They were both Immortal Realm Level 3 peak, but Palace Master Xiao Guang could not even withstand a single blow from Palace Master Inu. Su Yu walked to the edge of the deep pit, calmly saying, "Since you destroyed my mansion and killed my people because of a misunderstanding, then killing you is also a misunderstanding." Buzz buzz. A strand of lightning condensed once more on the tip of his finger, and it illuminated his face to be peerlessly cold. "Tell me, who ordered you to do this? What is your motive? After you tell me, I will give you a quick death." Su Yu's expression was calm. Unless Palace Master Xiao Guang was a lunatic, it was hard to imagine a normal person destroying someone else's mansion, killing his people, and kidnapping his woman. Even though Palace Master Xiao Guang was a little arrogant, he was a little too crazy to destroy someone else's residence so easily. If he really was such a person, why were the other deputy palace masters, whose abilities were far inferior to his, safe and sound, while Su Yu was treated this way? It was obvious that Palace Master Xiao Guang had done this intentionally. Moreover, Su Yu had never met him before, so he didn't have any grudges with him. Hence, it must have been someone who had grudges with Su Yu who had instructed him to sabotage Su Yu. As for the purpose of doing so, there was no way to know. Hall Master Xiao Guang, who was covered in blood and flesh, felt intense pain all over his body. His consciousness gradually became blurry. In such a state, it was painful and torturous, a life worse than death. "It's the first deputy Hall Master. It's him." Hall Master Xiao Guang made a rational decision. The first deputy palace master was also the first deputy palace master, Palace Master Shin Kong. The Shinkong area was next to the Inu area. Between the two, there was a black water pirate that traversed 2 regions. Apart from that, they did not have any interactions and had never met before. Su Yu pondered whether he had done anything inappropriate after coming to the Inu area and accidentally offended Palace Master Shin Kong. However, after thinking about it, he definitely shook his head. He had never offended Palace Master Shin Kong. Why would the other party instruct Palace Master Xiao Guang? What is his motive? Su Yu's eyes were filled with killing intent. Palace Master Xiao Guang said with difficulty, "His motive is to take you down a notch." Su Yu laughed, his smile a little cold. Why did he not come personally? Why did he send someone like you? Because you are not worth his effort. Sending me is more than enough. Su Yu understood. Someone he had never met wanted to take him down a notch, but felt that it was beneath him to do so personally. Hence, he sent someone with low abilities. Was that the only reason? Just to take him down a notch? Hence, 1 dead, 2 injured, and half of his mansion destroyed? What a great notch! Su Yu looked at the deep sky, letting out a sigh. Why is it that there are always people who do not know their place, coming to me to die? First it was Feng Qing, then Shui Yao, then Zhang Jian, and now the so-called first deputy palace master. Looks like I did not kill enough, not ruthless enough, not fast enough. Su Yu's eyes were filled with a cold glow. Since that is the case, I will turn the world upside down. I will kill for everyone to see. He was lucky that he had managed to rush back in time to save Zi Yunxiang and seek justice for the injured guards. Next time, he might not be so lucky. He did not want the same thing to happen a second time. There was a need to use ruthless methods to warn everyone. All right, you can rest in peace. Creak. Su Yu flicked his finger, sending the last bit of spirit energy into the deep pit. Palace Master Xiao Guang died. At this point, the second deputy palace master had been eliminated. Treat the families of the sacrifice guards well, and compensate the injured guards with a large sum of money. Do not let them bleed or cry. Su Yu stepped forward, inspecting the 3 guards. 2 of them were half crippled, with no hope of recovery, unless they could find the flesh regeneration elixir. But Su Yu had already used the last 2 of such elixirs. There were no more of such elixirs in this world. They were heavily injured because of Su Yu, and he had to take responsibility. The guards quickly carried the 3 of them away, beginning to repair the Inu manor. Elder Fan, you should go and rest as well. Thank you for stopping him just now. Su Yu helped Fan Haixing up from within the ruins. What shocked Su Yu was that even with Palace Master Xiao Guang's abilities, Fan Haixing, who was only at the Dragon Realm, had only suffered light injuries. Could that attack not be as strong as it looked? Palace Master, do not worry. You should go and see Miss Z. You were not here for half a month, and she has not eaten or drunk, worrying day and night. Fan Haixing waved his hands, letting out a gratified smile as he left with his hands behind his back. Looking at his back, Su Yu suddenly had the same feeling as when he first met him. The first time he met him, Su Yu had the same feeling as when he met Yun Yazi, deep and unfathomable. But upon closer inspection, he had an ordinary aura. This Fan Haixing. Deep within Su Yu's pupils, a shred of thought. Su Yu's eyes flashed, and he quickly squatted down to inspect Zi Yunxiang. I am fine. Luckily you came back in time. Zi Yunxiang's face was flushed, her bashfulness evident. Su Yu nodded. As long as you are fine. Thank you for your hard work during my absence. This is what I should do. Zi Yunxiang's voice was as soft as a mosquito's buzz. Suddenly, Zi Yunxiang seemed to have thought of something, hurriedly saying, That's right. There's a piece of great news. There is news of Miss Xia Jingyu and my father. Su Yu was shocked. When he first came to the Inu area, he had arranged for people to secretly investigate. After a few months there was finally news of them? This was undoubtedly the best news he had heard in recent times. Where are they? Tell me quickly, Su Yu said anxiously. Zi Yunxiang's face was filled with joy. Miss Xia Jingyu is most likely at the headquarters of the Empire of Darkness. According to the news, Miss Xia was recommended to enter the headquarters of the Empire of Darkness to participate in the selection of the 7th Lord of Darkness due to her talents. There is a high chance that she is still at the Empire of Darkness. Headquarters? Su Yu was shocked. Chapter 350. It was like an ancient ferocious beast that occupied the Zhenlong continent, overlooking all living things. In comparison, the 4 branch palaces were merely the empire's tentacles. Xia Jingyu had entered Dynasty's headquarters. However, thinking back to her inhuman level of comprehension, it was no surprise that she was chosen. From the looks of it, even if she wasn't chosen to become a saint, she should still be placed in an important position in the headquarters. If he had the chance to go to the headquarters, he would definitely look for it. Then, what about your father? Su Yu asked. Zi Yunxiang's face was filled with pleasant surprise. Father appeared in Phoenix Cry region half a month ago. I heard that Senior Lin Yunhe is with him. Phoenix Cry region? Su Yu raised his eyebrows. What a coincidence. The Phoenix meet was just around the corner and Zi Donglai had appeared there. Moreover, Lin Yunhe was with him? This meant that Zi Donglai had returned to the Alliance City and met up with Lin Yunhe after Su Yu had used the space distortion to teleport him away. Since that was the case, he should know that Su Yu had become Palace Master Yin. He should also know that his daughter, Zi Yunxiang, was also in the Yin area. Why hadn't he come to meet Zi Yunxiang? In fact, why hadn't he sent a message to her? Could it be that he had a reason to be helpless? What were they planning to do in Phoenix Cry region? After thinking for some time, Su Yu smiled. Yunxiang, follow me to the Phoenix area in 3 days' time. After I have settled my matters, I will help you look for Housemaster Zi. Zi Yunxiang shed tears of gratitude, her eyes filled with excitement. The father and daughter could finally meet again after being separated for several months. Thank you, Yin. I will definitely repay the favor I owe you. Zi Yunxiang's beautiful face was filled with sincere gratitude. The kindness that Su Yu had shown her was too much. He had saved her life, taken care of her, and searched for her father. Zi Yunxiang had no way to repay him. I only asked for peace of mind. You don't need to worry about me. Alright, go and rest. We will set off in 3 days. Su Yu patted her shoulder and smiled comfortingly. Zi Yunxiang smiled peacefully. You too. When he finished speaking, he watched Su Yu leave. As she gazed at the skinny figure, Zi Yunxiang's bright eyes dimmed. A self-mocking smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. I met the right person at the wrong time. This is my fate. She had indescribable feelings for Su Yu. However, she also understood that Su Yu had a fiancé and someone he loved. He had always treated her as a friend. It was even more impossible for her to tolerate sharing a man with another woman. This was a woman's basic pride, and it had nothing to do with strength. Therefore, she could only suppress this feeling and treat it as a regret in her life that was never fulfilled. 3 days later. Other than training hard, Su Yu also seized the time to refine the Mountain River Dragon Bow. He naturally had to cherish the drop of 10,000 soldier liquid that Tu Long had given him. During the half a month of travel, Xiao Chen had already started to refine the 10,000 soldier liquid. By now, he had already used more than half of the 10,000 soldier liquid, which had 70% effects. Now, only the last wisp of 10,000 soldier liquid was left. As time passed, the 10,000 soldier liquid seeped into the silver bow, expelling the blood essence of the original owner from the silver bow. At the same time, Su Yu's blood essence fused into the silver bow. The process was arduous and slow. Finally, on the morning of the 3rd day, roar! A draconic roar came from the mouth of the flying dragon carved on the silver bow. His voice was long and drawn out, and it contained an indescribable grand Tao of the heavens and the earth. The rhythm was similar to the Buddhist saints' 8 characters. Su Yu had successfully refined 1/10 of the 10,000 soldier liquid. Previously, a drop of diluted 10,000 soldier liquid had refined a small portion of the 10,000 soldier liquid. Now, with Tu Long's blood essence, he had successfully refined 1/10 of the 10,000 soldier liquid. The bowstring that could only be pulled back an inch in the past could now be pulled back 3 inches. An arrow of spirit energy the length of a finger was ready to be shot. Even though it was still transparent and had not materialized, it had already taken shape. It was far more powerful than the arrow that was the size of a thumb. Its power had increased by 3 times. Refining the 10,000 soldier liquid before the Phoenix meet was the best thing he could do. Su Yu did not want to have an extra bit of ability to increase his chances of winning in a meet where many strong martial artists gathered. Yin Yu, are you awake? It was Zi Yunxiang, impatiently waiting outside the door. Su Yu opened the door. Yes, let's go. But just as the two of them were about to set off, a sharp cry could be heard from deep in the sky. The cry reverberated throughout the universe, extremely ear-piercing. The spirit energy of all the martial artists in the city shook at the same time, their blood boiling. Some martial artists with low cultivation bases even fainted on the spot from the shock of the cry. Many martial artists were bleeding from their orifices. Their faces were filled with shock as they suppressed the strange movements within their bodies with difficulty. Only Immortal Realm martial artists could barely withstand it. The impact of the sound wave quickly reached the Inu manor. Su Yu's expression turned cold. He charged out of the stone door, waving his sleeves to protect Si Yunxiang. Creak. The powerful sound wave caused Su Yu's sleeves to flutter, lifting the ruins of the manor 100 feet into the air. In no time, the sky was filled with broken rocks, dust covering the sun. Whoosh! Within the sky full of dust, a giant black shadow appeared in the sky above the Inu manor. It circled in the sky, letting out a sharp cry continuously. The people in the manor felt as if their heads were about to split open. The blood in the air rumbled continuously, causing them quite a bit of damage. Scram! Su Yu spat out a word. The aura of the Buddhist saint's 8 characters formed a vast sound wave that soared into the sky, blowing away all the dust in the air. The sound wave that kept coming was also cancelled out. The crowd felt a little better, frantically looking for cover to recuperate. Looking up, after the dust dissipated, the culprit appeared in front of the crowd. It was a huge blue eagle that was 100 feet in size. Its light blue feathers glistened in the sky. Its sharp and cold eyes looked down on the crowd in disdain. The aura of an Immortal Realm Level 3 lower tier caused most of the human martial artists to shudder. Blue Illusion Eagle. It's the second Deputy Palace Master's Blue Illusion Eagle. My God! Is that the legendary Blue Illusion Eagle? It is rumored that it is a Blue Illusion Eagle with a weak immortal bloodline. It can travel 1,000,000 miles in a day, and its speed far exceeds that of an Immortal Realm Level 3. It is even faster than an Immortal Realm Level 4. Since it has appeared, does that mean that the second Deputy Palace Master, Lu Li, has also appeared? The second Deputy Palace Master Lu Li. A Deputy Palace Master whose abilities were second only to Shen Kong. It was rumored that, apart from Shen Kong, he had not fought with any other Deputy Palace Master for many years. The reason was that he could not be bothered to fight with them. Even Xiao Guang, who was ranked 3rd, was a world apart in terms of abilities. They were on 2 completely different levels. Xiao Guang could not even withstand a look from Lu Li, much less a direct fight. From the start, Lu Li only had one opponent. That was Shen Kong. He had said these words on many occasions. In the North Continent's sub-palace, the only person who could fight with him was Shen Kong. It was rumored that he had fought with Shen Kong many times, and there was a high possibility that he could replace Shen Kong and become the new Chief Deputy Palace Master. Su Yu's gaze turned serious, but he ignored the Blue Illusion Eagle. His gaze landed on the tall figure on the back of the Blue Illusion Eagle. What the? He then realized that the 3rd chapter from the previous day had been repeated. It had just been edited, and the correct chapter had been changed. The readers who had already subscribed did not need to subscribe again. They did not need to spend any money and could click on 348. They could view the edited chapter again. The cell phone version might be a little slower, as it had not been synced. They could only read it after a while. The computer version had already edited it, displaying the edited chapter. They could read it directly. Chapter 351. It was a young man in his mid-20s, but his abilities were at Immortal Realm Level 4. Su Yu had personally witnessed the power of an Immortal Realm Level 4. During the Beast Tide in the Forest of Darkness, the demonic beast King Icebird could move heaven and earth with a casual spit, destroying everything within 100 miles. That terror was still fresh in Su Yu's mind. It could be said that the realm above Immortal Realm Level 4 was another world for fighters, that was very close to the realm of gods. His every move was filled with great power, far beyond what an Immortal Realm Level 3 could compare to. Was that the second Deputy Palace Master, Lu Li? It's really Palace Leader Lu Li. The group of guards exclaimed and inhaled cold breaths. Their eyes were filled with respect. It was clearly Lu Li's mount that injured them, but they did not dare have any complaints. No, they could not bear any hatred. When Feng Qing, Shui Yao, and Xiao Guang had come knocking on their door, they had not dared to say anything. But now, they did not even dare to be angry. Xiao Guang is here? Lu Li placed his hands on the two swords at his waist, looking heroic and elegant. His handsome facial features reflected a jade-like luster under the sunlight. However, his expression was very calm. There was no joy or sorrow, and no joy could be seen. But Su Yu could feel that within that calmness, there was a cold arrogance. There was dead silence below, no one replying. I am asking you a question, Yin Yu. Lu Li looked down at Su Yu, calmly saying. Su Yu calmly said, Oh, so you are talking to me? He did not even look him in the eye when talking to him. Yes. I am talking to you, answer me. Lu Li said simply, but it sounded like an order. Why must I answer you? Su Yu laughed as he shook his head. Lu Li's gaze was still calm, without a ripple. My time is limited, and I do not wish to be wasted by you. I will ask you one last time, is he dead or alive? He probably felt that conversing with Su Yu was a waste of time. Since you do not wish to be wasted by me, why are you asking me? Do you think I have to answer you? Su Yu laughed. Lu Li shook his head, no longer looking at Su Yu. You have missed a chance. A chance for me to give you pointers. Which of the other deputy palace masters didn't treat him with utmost respect? However, Lu Li never showed any emotion to others. She always had a cold and arrogant face. It was extremely difficult to meet him, let alone talk to him. What's more, to be able to spar with him and receive his guidance. Even Xiao Guang, who was ranked third, was probably eager to fight with him and receive pointers. Hearing this, Su Yu was extremely amused. Perhaps others were currying favor with him, hoping to get his guidance after befriending him. However, it was too egotistical to think that everyone would have something to ask of him and look up to him. Leave it for someone else. I don't need it. Su Yu shook his head. Lu Li glanced at him indifferently. Only a frog in a well would have such thoughts. You will never be able to see the true martial path. With that, Liu Li steered the Blue Eagle and flew into the sky. Let's go. Xiao Guang is dead. He died in a battle between weaklings. He's not worthy of sympathy. In his eyes, the fight between Su Yu and Xiao Guang was a meaningless fight between the weak. This person's arrogance was truly astounding. Finally, Lu Li turned to look at Su Yu. Let's go. We'll meet at the Phoenix Cabinet. Don't cause trouble for me. I don't have time to bother with your trivial matters. Su Yu could not help but laugh. Lu Li had actually thought that Su Yu would seek his help after getting into trouble at the Phoenix Cabinet. Let's go. Lu Li said to the Blue Eagle, preparing to leave. Wait. Su Yu coldly scolded. Your matter is over, but mine has yet to begin. Lu Li did not even turn his head. You only have 3 breaths time. Su Yu surveyed the surroundings, coldly saying, Don't you want to say something to my injured citizens? Controlling the Blue Eagle to descend upon Inu City, causing many people to be injured. No matter what, this was Lu Li's fault for not considering the situation. Is there anything else? Lu Li calmly said. Su Yu coldly said, Speak. How do you want to settle this? But Lu Li controlled the Blue Eagle and flew up, calmly replying, If there's nothing else, I'm leaving. As for the matter you spoke of, it is merely my mount's remaining wild nature. It has already restrained itself by only injuring and not killing. You should be thankful that it did not kill your people. All right, we'll meet at the Phoenix Cabinet. Remember, don't cause trouble for me. After saying this, the Blue Eagle turned into a blue afterimage, piercing through the heavens and disappearing. Its speed was far above that of an immortal realm level 4. It was frightening. Su Yu activated his crystalline pupils, but he could only catch a fleeting afterimage within a 50-mile radius. It could be seen that the speed of the Blue Eagle was so fast that Su Yu could not catch up to it. Lu Li. Su Yu was furious. According to Lu Li, His mount was already being merciful by not killing anyone. Su Yu should be thankful that it had only injured a few people. Zi Yunxiang was furious. How arrogant! Why didn't he say that we should be thankful that his mount did not kill us? Su Yu looked in the direction of the Blue Eagle, calmly saying, "Let's return the favor at the phoenix meet." This kind of person can only be taught a lesson with a fist. Any reasoning is unnecessary. There's no time to lose. Let's set off as well. Su Yu grabbed Zi Yunxiang, taking to the skies. Half a month later, they had finally arrived at the Phoenix area after traveling thousands of miles. This area was located in the middle of the North Continent. It was like spring all year round, the climate was humid, and there were many mountain ranges. The mountains were often covered in mist, as if it was a paradise on Earth. The resources were abundant, and there were many birds, beasts, fish, and bugs. The Phoenix area occupies the North Continent's natural fortune. It is not something that the 100 Territories Alliance can compare to, Zi Yunxiang exclaimed. Su Yu nodded. Indeed. But the water vapor is too dense. In the forest, it can easily form miasma, especially since there are many poisonous creatures living in the forest. The poisonous substances they emit will enter the air along with the water vapor, forming an even more harmful miasma. As he said this, Su Yu pointed to the forest beneath them. A finger-sized black worm was wriggling on a tree. Heavenly poison worm. Zi Yunxiang was shocked. This worm is a deadly poisonous worm that can kill even an immortal level 1 martial artist. In the 100 Territories Alliance, its value is sky-high. It is comparable to a remnant of a complete legacy-level technique. Unexpectedly, Su Yu shook his head. It's not just one. Look again. Zi Yunxiang looked over, only to discover that the black soil under the tree was actually slightly wriggling. Upon closer inspection, she could see that it was not black soil. Instead, it was a horde of heavenly poison worms. They covered an area of 100 square meters, and there were tens of thousands of them. Hiss! If so many heavenly poison worms appeared in the 100 Territories Alliance, it would be a disaster. Apart from the Alliance city, no other force could defend against them. But such a frightening swarm of poisonous worms had appeared casually in the Phoenix area. Su Yu creased his brows. Even though the Phoenix area was special, it was not normal for so many poisonous creatures to gather here. A crystalline glow flashed deep within his pupils. Su Yu secretly observed a 50-mile radius. After looking, his expression turned serious. What the? Only then did he realize that the third chapter from yesterday had been repeated. It had just been edited and replaced with the correct chapter. Readers who had already subscribed did not need to subscribe again. They did not need to spend any money and could directly click 348. They could view the edited chapter again. The cell phone version might be slower as it had not been synced. They could only view it after a while. The computer version had already been edited, displaying the edited chapter. They could view it directly. Chapter 352. Within 50 miles, there were all sorts of poisonous creatures. There were poisonous creatures of all sizes at every step. Even Su Yu felt his hair stand on end when he saw the most powerful poisonous creatures, not daring to provoke them. Be careful, we might have accidentally entered a special zone, Su Yu said seriously. The surroundings were not normal, and he had to be careful. As he spoke, a purplish-black mist suddenly rose from the forest in the horizon. It's miasma. Furthermore, from the color, it might be poisonous. Let's avoid it, Su Yu said cautiously. The two of them carefully circled the edge of the miasma, preparing to avoid it. But, clang! Suddenly, the sound of metal clashing reverberated within the miasma, accompanied by a woman's cry for help. Su Yu raised his brows, his crystalline pupils unable to see what was happening within. Zi Yunxiang was troubled. Should we save her? Logically, they should leave as soon as possible. Emotionally, they should save her if she was in trouble. Su Yu thought for a moment, then said, Wait outside the miasma, I'll go in. If it was within his abilities to save a life, why not? Crackle. Su Yu's body was surrounded by purple arcs of lightning, enveloping him within. The nearby poisonous fog was turned into black ash when it came into contact with the powerful lightning, falling to the ground. Whoosh! Su Yu entered the miasma, and was able to see what was happening within. It was a young, enchanting woman, about 25 or 26 years old, with the abilities of an immortal realm level 3 lower tier. She had a charming face, wearing a snow-white fox fur robe. Her figure was enchanting, captivating. At this moment, she was sweating profusely, dealing with a 100-foot giant snake. Among the demonic beasts, the giant snake's size and abilities were not strong. However, the poisonous fog it spat out shocked Su Yu. The miasma had appeared because the snake was spitting out poisonous fog. Su Yu's instincts told him that if he was hit by the poisonous liquid, even his body would rot on the spot. But at this moment, the beautiful woman breathed in the miasma, her stamina weakening. A faint black color appeared on her forehead. If no one saved her, she might not last more than a few minutes. Su Yu sighed inwardly. She was lucky to have met them. Su Yu pulled back the mountain river dragon bow, choosing to shoot from a distance. Her cultivation level was not high, only immortal realm level 2. Therefore, he was killed on the spot by the arrow. After thrashing a few times, the giant snake stopped struggling and was completely dead. After ascertaining that the snake was completely dead and that it would not retaliate before its death, Su Yu revealed himself. He went in front of the poisonous snake and removed its poison sac nimbly. The rescued beautiful woman was stunned. Clearly, she did not expect that the venomous snake that was about to poison her to death would be killed with one arrow. Seeing that Su Yu had removed the poison sac, the beautiful lady smiled gently. "Thank you, young hero, for saving me. This is an earth dragon snake, and it is still in its infancy. The poison in the poison sac has not reached its peak." She seemed relaxed, but her whole body was tense, like an arrow on a bowstring. If Su Yu had the slightest intention to kill her and take her treasures, she would immediately turn around and escape. Earth dragon snake? Su Yu did not know. Su Yu also noticed the woman's little tricks, but he didn't care. Under such circumstances, even Su Yu had to be on guard against the person who killed the poisonous snake, in order to avoid encountering people who were greedy for money. Su Yu nodded expressionlessly. He didn't even look at her as he turned around and flew back. He then said apathetically, "Miss, you should leave as soon as possible. The poison in your body needs to be cleansed as soon as possible." After saying this, Su Yu flew away. The woman heaved a sigh of relief. It looked like Su Yu did not have any ill intentions. Her tense nerves relaxed, and the poisonous fog that she had suppressed exploded in an instant. With a cry of pain, the woman fell to the ground, clutching her chest and struggling in pain. Su Yu turned around, sighing helplessly. He flew back, grabbed her, and left the miasma. After meeting up with Zi Yunxiang, he brought the woman out of the poisonous area to a clear and clean place. He inserted a shred of spirit energy, expelling a small portion of the poison, allowing her to regain consciousness. "Thank you, young hero, for saving my life." The woman woke up. After sensing that she was safe, she bowed and smiled, revealing a row of white teeth. That smile was like a red flower in a field. It was breathtaking and beautiful, causing one's heart to palpitate. What an enchanting woman! Her every action was full of charm. Compared to her, Zi Yunxiang's inexperience was obvious. His eyes clear, Su Yu turned his body, calmly saying, "Since you are fine, we will take our leave. Yunxiang, let's go." "Young hero, please wait. I am Zhou Jing, and I live in the Phoenix Fort. My husband is from the Phoenix Fort's Yao family, an alchemy family. Young hero, why don't you come to my husband's house as a guest, to repay the debt of saving your life?" "Yao family?" Zi Yunxiang's heart trembled, losing her voice. "Yao family? Could it be the Yao family of the Phoenix Fort's 8 great families? Saying this, Ziyunxiang secretly sent a message to Su Yu. "Yin, you saved a very important person. The Yao family is proficient in alchemy, and it is said that they can create an ancient elixir. Many strong martial artists yearn for it, and even Han Jianglin was rejected when he asked for it. If what she said is true, and she really is the wife of the Yao family, you might be able to get a generous reward." Su Yu did not even think, shaking his head. "No need. I did not save her for the reward. Furthermore, saving someone might not be a reward." Su Yu's last sentence seemed to have a deeper meaning. Ziyunxiang understood as well, sighing regretfully. How could she not understand that in this world, doing good might not be rewarded? Seeing that Su Yu and his group were about to leave, Zhou Jing let out a bitter sigh. "It is my fault for not thinking things through and causing trouble for you. But I beg for you to lend me a hand. In the fight just now, my internal organs were injured. If you are going with me, please escort me back to the city. When the time comes, I will repay you generously." Su Yu creased his brows, thinking for a moment, nodding his head unwillingly. Be quiet on the way, and do not ask too many questions. As long as she did not cause trouble, he could send her back along the way. "Thank you, young hero. I will remember your instructions." Zhou Jing smiled, bowing in respect. Her actions were dignified and polite, as expected of the young master of a great family. The way she spoke was different from the norm. They did not speak along the way. After half a day, the group finally arrived at the Phoenix Fort. The Phoenix Cabinet was in the center of the fort. They sent Zhou Jing all the way to the Yao family of the Phoenix Fort. The Yao family occupied an area of the Phoenix Fort. Their buildings were grand and imposing, and they were heavily guarded, displaying the grandeur of a great family. "All right, I will send you here. There is no need to thank me, goodbye." After sending her to the door, Su Yu said his goodbyes. Zhou Jing hurriedly said, "Young hero, please wait." Su Yu turned back, a little impatient. "Is there anything else?" She gently stroked her hair, an unintentional action, but it was extremely flirtatious. The passers-by and the guards of the Yao family were all stunned. Even for Su Yu, the thought of pressing him to the ground once again appeared in his mind. The evil thought of ravaging her. Chapter 353. Young hero is a narrow-minded person. I believe that you will not be interested in my tacky treasures. From what I see, young hero seems to be new to the Phoenix Cry Castle, so you must be unfamiliar with the Phoenix Cry Castle. If young hero needs any information, my Yao family can help you investigate. I believe that with the power of my Yao family, we will definitely have an advantage over young hero. If she had really promised elixirs and techniques, Su Yu would not have been interested. But information, especially information about Siener, was something he desperately wanted to know. If that is the case, then I will have to trouble you. Su Yu did not hesitate. Zhou Jing smiled. Young hero, your presence brings light to my humble dwelling. Young hero, young lady, please follow me. Under her lead, the group entered the Yao family's hall. Along the way, Su Yu sensed more than 10 Immortal Realm Level 3 fighters. Apart from Han Jianglin, no other family in the 100 Territories Alliance could have such power. As expected of the Phoenix Cabinet, one of the 8 great families, to have such power. Young hero, please wait for a moment. I am going to take off my clothes and will be back soon. After pouring tea for Su Yu and the others, Zhou Jing stood up and apologized. Looking at her slender back, Ziyunxiang was a little envious. What a perfect woman. Her looks, demeanor, figure, and cultivation level are all top-notch. I have long heard that the Yao family has a beautiful madam. Could she be Zhou Jing? Qingqing? Every frown and smile of this woman had a soul-stirring charm. It was not an exaggeration to say that she was beautiful. As the two of them were talking, suddenly, an imposing youth walked out from the back of the hall. He was 27 or 28 years old, short and fat, his skin tanned, his eyes as narrow as mung beans. He looked comical, but his aura was cold, giving off a sense of danger. "You are the ones who saved my wife?" The short and fat man's voice was sharp, like a eunuch's. Su Yu creased his brows. What was going on? Doubt? But since this person was Zhou Jing's husband, Su Yu suppressed his displeasure. "Yes, in the miasma, my wife was being harassed by a young earth dragon snake. We passed by and saved her," Su Yu said truthfully. The short and fat man squinted, looking Su Yu up and down. "Earth dragon snake you? Do you know that even a young earth dragon snake could kill an immortal level 3 peak martial artist? Yet you were able to kill it easily and rescue my wife from its mouth?" Su Yu slowly stood up. Even though he was only 16 years old, he was much taller than the other party. He looked down at him with a cold expression. "You suspect that I am greedy for the Yao family's reward, and purposely saved him to express my goodwill, using your kindness to gain self-respect?" A sinister smile appeared on the corners of the short and fat man's mouth. "You're taking advantage of my kindness? If that's all you've got, it's not a big deal for me to give you a reward." Su Yu was confused. "Oh? Tell me, what do you mean by 'I'm more than that'? Do I still need to say it? Of course it was a deliberate ploy to lure my family's madam into a trap. You took the opportunity to win her trust and enter my Yao family to covet the ancient panacea." The short fatty sneered. "This kind of trick has been outdated for hundreds of years. To think that someone would still use it today. How reckless!" Upon hearing this, Su Yu was stunned. When he regained his senses, he stood up and shook his head in amusement. "I didn't expect that I would become a villain after saving someone's life. If I had known this would happen, why would I have done this? Humph, there's no need to quibble here. You and I both know the truth." The short and fat man snorted coldly. Su Yu shook his head and did not speak. There was no way to communicate with this kind of person. "Yinxiang, let's go. If you had known this would happen, why did you do it in the first place?" Su Yu pulled Zi Yinxiang and turned to leave. "Wait!" the short and fat man shouted. Su Yu stood still and did not turn back. However, his words were unusually calm. "Why? You want to kill us just because of a suspicion? If word of this gets out, where will your Yao family's reputation come from?" The short and fat man grunted. "I wouldn't go so far as to kill you. I have seen too many people like you. My Yao family has no time for you. However, you have borrowed our bow. Shouldn't you return it?" "Bow?" Su Yu's eyes narrowed. "You are saying that I borrowed your Yao family's bow?" The short and fat man clapped his hands. "Qingqing, come out and tell them what happened in the forest." Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Other than Zhou Jing, who had a serious expression, there were 10 strong fighters of Immortal Realm Level 3 who entered from the back of the hall. They surrounded him tightly, making it so that not even a drop of water could pass through. Su Yu looked around at the crowd, his gaze finally landing on Zhou Jing's face. That dignified and charming face was now filled with a sense of unfamiliarity. "Sir, please return the bow. Do not do such a shameless thing. Qingqing will look down on you." Zhou Jing's tone was calm and emotionless. Su Yu was calm, his hands behind his back. He had a faint smile. "Why don't you tell us yourself what happened in the forest?" The short and fat man grunted. "You are truly shameless. Even at death's door, you are still unwilling to admit it. Qingqing, tell everyone here what happened in the forest." Zhou Jing's snow-white chin nodded. She spoke slowly. "Half a day ago, I was picking herbs and passed by a miasma. I heard a cry for help and went to investigate. I discovered a young man, who is this, sir, being harassed by an earth dragon snake. At the critical moment, I threw the silver bow that I carried with me to the young man as a weapon. Only then did he manage to escape. What I did not expect was that this sir, upon seeing the bow, would attempt to take it for himself. Furthermore, he was lustful and attempted to take advantage of me." Zhou Jing was on the verge of tears. It was as if she had suffered a great injustice. Her expression was pitiful and pitiful. I was quick-witted and lied that I would help him steal the spirit elixir from the Yao family. That was how I managed to preserve my chastity. As she spoke, Zhou Jing threw herself into the arms of the short and fat man. Yao Ling, you have to help me. Her words were truly infuriating. The people of the Yao family were infuriated. Ziyunxiang was even more infuriated. The people of the Yao family were infuriated by Su Yu's shamelessness. He dared to snatch the silver bow from their savior, and even attempted to use his claws on her. Ziyunxiang, on the other hand, was indignant. Zhou Jing's acting was flawless. She had actually managed to turn the entire matter upside down. She finally understood that the moment Su Yu saved Zhou Jing, she had set her sights on Su Yu's silver bow. Hence, she had used all sorts of methods to lure them into the Yao family. Who was the truly shameless one? Slap! Yao Ling's fat palm furiously slammed the table in front of him, turning it into powder. His expression was dark and furious. You have the guts to be lustful. You took something from the Yao family and even attempted to take advantage of my wife. Don't even think of leaving the Yao family today. Men, kill them. Kill them on the spot. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Groups of strong martial artists of the Yao family unleashed their killing techniques in anger, showing no mercy. Su Yu laughed coldly with his hands behind his back. His laughter shook the roof, reaching the clouds. Ha ha! Interesting. I have seen many people who kill others to steal their treasures. However, this is the first time I have seen someone who wants to kill and steal their treasures the moment their savior appears. Interesting, very interesting. Then, I think it will be even more interesting to kill all of you. He was truly sorry for what had happened yesterday. He would continue to explode tomorrow to make up for it. Chapter 354. This couple had colluded with each other, trying to get their hands on the Mountain River Dragon Bow. If not for Su Yu's timely rescue, Zhou Jing would have died in the snake's stomach. What was laughable was that in the instant she called for help, Zhou Jing had set her sights on Su Yu's silver bow, luring him to the Yao family, intending to kill him and steal his treasure. How dark must her heart be to have such thoughts in an instant? This woman had an alluring beauty, but her heart was as vicious as a viper's and a scorpion's. Yao Ling said coldly, "Don't try to argue. The Yao family is a big family. Why would we covet the treasure of a nameless person like you? You have done all sorts of evil, yet you are still stubborn. Do you really think that the Yao family is a charity? Kill them as a warning to others." In Yao Ling's embrace, a vicious sneer appeared on the charming face of the frail Zhou Jing. Whoosh whoosh, 10 Immortal Realm Level 3 fighters attacked at the same time. A terrifying energy filled the surroundings, surrounding Su Yu and Ziyunxiang, killing them on the spot. Su Yu protected Ziyunxiang behind him, looking at them with cold disdain. Buzz buzz buzz. 10 long spirit energy needles formed on his fingers, shooting out in all directions as Su Yu's fingers danced. Not good. It's Immortal Realm Level 3 upper tier. Yao Ling was shocked. Su Yu was so young, how could he have imagined his cultivation level to be so high? In their eyes, Su Yu had killed the Earth Dragon Snake all because of the Divine Bow. But what they did not expect was that the truly terrifying thing was not the silver bow, but Su Yu himself. Immortal Realm Level 3 lower tier, retreat! Yao Ling shouted, pouncing forward. But it was too late for them to react. Clang, creak. Among the 10 Immortal Realm Level 3 fighters, only 1 Immortal Realm Level upper tier managed to block it. The other 9 Immortal Realm Level 3 lower tier Yao family members had their chests blasted apart by the terrifying spirit energy. In front of an Immortal Realm Level 3 upper tier, lower tiers could not match up. Thunder Star Finger. But without waiting for Yao Ling to rush over to help, Su Yu did not stop. A bolt of purple lightning appeared on his palm, shooting out, killing the last Immortal Realm Level 3 upper tier fighter. In an instant, 10 Immortal Realm Level 3 fighters were killed on the spot. The scene was filled with corpses and bright red blood. It was bloody and tragic. Su Yu stood in the middle of the blood river, and a faint smile appeared at the corners of his mouth. His smile was evil and cruel, and he said, "With such power, you still dare to kill people and steal their treasures?" Unknowingly, Zhou Jing's charming face had frozen into an ice sculpture. Her beautiful snow-white eyes had shrunk to the size of a needle and were filled with fear. Her petite body was trembling on the spot, and her legs were trembling non-stop. Puff, due to his nervousness, his legs turned to jelly, and he collapsed to the ground. Staring at the corpses on the ground, he fell into a daze. Yao Ling was furious. An Immortal Realm Level 3 martial artist, which was 30% of the Yao family's power, had been destroyed in an instant. What caused Yao Ling to be even more terrified was that, as an Immortal Realm Level 3 upper-tier martial artist, he was also killed by the young man in front of him in one move. What kind of cultivation did the other party have? Could he be an Immortal Realm Level 3 peak? "It's your turn now, young Master Yao," Madame Qin Qing. Su Yu had an evil smile on his face, and his killing intent was extremely strong. Yao Ling shuddered and hurriedly withdrew his hand. He turned around and carried Zhou Jing to escape. "Run, father, please." Creak, but a moon-white figure blocked in front of them like a broken thread. "Why? Do you not intend to take back your silver bow? Do you not intend to punish a lecher like me?" Su Yu's back was facing them, and he let out a cold laugh. Yao Ling's heart shook, and he gave a low roar. "I do not care who you are or what you are doing. I hope you will think this through. This is the Phoenix Fort, the Yao family. If you touch a single hair of ours, you will not be able to leave the Yao family." "Hee, are you threatening me?" Su Yu turned his head, and his face was filled with a cold smile. "Unfortunately, I am not afraid of threats. Not to mention a mere Yao family. Even if it was the people of the Phoenix Cabinet who provoked me, I would kill them without hesitation. Furthermore, even if I were to let you off, would I be able to leave the Yao family alive?" Su Yu let out a cold laugh and walked forward, his expression filled with killing intent. "I do not seek any rewards, and only acted on my conscience to save you. To think that I would receive such treatment from you. Your deaths are not to be regretted." Yao Ling's expression changed. "Wait. This was not my intention. I was deceived. It was my wife who took a fancy to your silver bow and tricked me into taking it." Zhou Jing, who was in his embrace, turned pale with fright. She looked up at Yao Ling in disbelief. "Husband, you." Yao Ling lowered his head and scolded angrily. "Isn't it because of your greed that you offended the young hero? You are seeking death. Do not implicate the Yao family." At that moment, Zhou Jing's eyes were filled with grievance, her snow-white eyes misting over. "Husband, are you so heartless? I only mentioned his silver bow. It was you who acted on your own and wanted to take the silver bow. At such a critical moment, you pushed me out to die. How could you be so heartless?" Yao Ling said in a low voice, "Everything I said is true." The two of them, at such a critical moment, began to shift the blame onto each other. Su Yu shook his head playfully. "Both of you, why are you putting on an act? Pretending to shift the blame onto each other so that you can stall for time? You are stupid, but do not assume that others are as stupid as you." Although the battle just now had ended quickly, it still attracted the attention of the Yao family's fighters. If they did not leave in time and the real experts of the Yao family appeared, it would be troublesome. The two of them looked like they were husband and wife, each doing their own thing in the face of danger. But in reality, they were cooperating with each other, trying to stall for time and wait for reinforcements. Yao Ling and Zhou Jing's expressions froze at the same time. Zhou Jing's flustered expression gradually disappeared. Her charming face was replaced with a cunning and calm expression. "I admit that I made a mistake and provoked a strong enemy. I am willing to compensate you. Name your price. As long as the Yao family is able to pay it, we will not hesitate." Apart from that, we will let you go. From now on, we will have nothing to do with each other. Our only condition is that you do not harm us." The current Zhou Jing seemed to have changed into a different person. She was like a completely different person from the helpless and timid image of a moment ago. Suyu could not figure out which was the real Zhou Jing. Was she flirtatious, calm and composed, or was she flustered when faced with trouble? Yao Ling was silent at the side, letting Zhou Jing take charge. Suyu's lips formed a mocking smile. "I don't think much of it. I do not care for the things of the Yao family. I only want to eliminate the root of the problem, to prevent future trouble." Suyu took a step forward. At this moment, Zhou Jing was still calm as usual. Her snow-white eyes were cold. "You will regret this." Suyu calmly shook his head. "I have never regretted." Suyu pointed a finger at Yao Ling. At this moment, Zhou Jing did a dumbfounded action. She took out a dagger from her sleeves and stabbed it into Yao Ling's chest. With a flick of her wrist, Yao Ling's heart was crushed. "Qingqing you!" Yao Ling stared at Zhou Jing's back in disbelief. His wife of 3 years had actually pulled out a knife against him. Zhou Jing did not turn back, her face cold, without the slightest bit of affection between husband and wife. "I'm sorry, Yao Ling. I have to sacrifice you in order to be saved." Blood wings. Pulling out the dagger, Yao Ling spat out fresh blood, splattering all over the sky. A portion of it formed a pair of 3 zhang long blood-red wings on Zhou Jing's back. As the wings flapped, they created a terrifying gust of wind, instantly sending Yao Ling a few miles away. Her speed was comparable to an immortal realm level 4, just below the Blue Eagle. Suyu's eyes flashed. "Humph! Trying to escape?" A purple light flashed in his right eye, gathering space energy and enveloping Zhou Jing, who had escaped 10 miles away, teleporting her back. Zhou Jing's calm expression changed for the first time. Innate space talent? Her expression was flustered. "What are you trying to do?" "Of course I'm trying to send you down." Suyu's murderous intent was strong. This woman had the heart of a snake and scorpion. She had disregarded Suyu's gratitude for saving her life, tried to snatch Suyu's silver bow, and plotted to kill him. She had even sacrificed her husband of 3 years without hesitation. Suyu felt a chill from the bottom of his heart at such a heartless woman. This person could not be left alive. However, just as she was about to be teleported back, a powerful and unparalleled spiritual energy suddenly shot over from the sky, disrupting the teleportation in the area on the spot. Freed from her restraints, Zhou Jing immediately spread her blood wings and fled. Suyu was furious, quickly giving chase. But the blood wings were a secret technique used to save one's life. Suyu chased for a while, but was unable to catch up. Looking around coldly, Suyu's eyes were cold. Who saved Zhou Jing secretly? That person seemed to have been nearby, but had not shown herself. What was her motive for being near the Yao family? "I cannot catch up to you, but it is not difficult to find you." Suyu was unwilling to give up. His crystalline pupils revolved, seeing everything within a 50-mile radius. Even though Zhou Jing was fast, he could still see her clearly. After half a cup of tea's time, Zhou Jing entered a secluded area of the Phoenix Fort from the sky. Carefully landing in an alley, Zhou Jing opened her mouth and coughed violently, spitting out a few mouthfuls of blood. Zhou Jing's eyes glowed coldly as she pushed open a pitch-black door at the end of the alley. Creak, the giant door opened. The spacious courtyard was dead silent, filled with silence. It was supposed to be filled with birds and flowers, but there was not even the sound of insects in the courtyard. It was as if the place had fallen into a hopeless silence. "Greetings, master." Zhou Jing knelt on one knee, fearful and fearful. A woman's raspy voice came from within the courtyard. "You are injured." Zhou Jing endured the pain, activating the blood wings secret technique. The damage to her body was obvious. "I am fine, master. I accidentally provoked a strong youth and brought trouble upon myself. I had no choice but to kill Yao Ling. I am afraid I cannot continue staying in the Yao family. Zhou Jing endured the pain as she spoke. The raspy voice was ethereal, coming from an unknown location within the courtyard. You did not just bring trouble upon yourself. Even I was almost exposed by you. Creak. A bolt of spirit energy shot out from the courtyard, heading in Su Yu's direction. Su Yu was using his full power to observe Zhou Jing and the courtyard. Suddenly, an immortal level 4 powerful spirit energy shot out from within. His expression changed slightly, and he dodged it hurriedly. After dodging, he revolved his crystalline pupils again, but Zhou Jing had already disappeared. In a secret chamber of the Phoenix Fort, a lady wearing a black long dress and a black mask was playing with a cup in her hand. Countless poisonous insects were fighting and devouring each other. Chapter 355. Do not do such a foolish thing a second time, or else you will know the consequences, the masked woman said in a hoarse voice. Zhou Jing bowed and knelt. Yes, master. How did it go? The masked woman said indifferently. Reporting to master, I have successfully obtained the ancient elixir formula of the Yao family. I had wanted to gather enough ingredients to hand it over to master, but I did not expect to find a youth using a silver bow. That silver bow was extremely powerful, and it could not be a normal divine artifact. I had wanted to give it to master, but I did not expect to get into trouble. The masked woman shook her head. It is enough that you have the intention. Be careful next time. The Phoenix Cabinet is near, and there will be many strong fighters. There are all sorts of strange geniuses. You cannot judge a book by its cover, and overlook it just because you are young. Seeing that you have completed your mission, I will let bygones be bygones. Go and cultivate. Zhou Jing revealed a joyous expression, revealing a smile of relief. I can finally leave the Yao family. Back then, in order to carry out her master's mission, she had sacrificed herself and married into the Yao family to obtain the formula of an ancient elixir. For 3 whole years, she had faced a husband she did not like, and had been careful in every aspect. She had gained the trust of the Yao family, gradually reaching this stage. Today, she had finally completed her mission. After Zhou Jing left, the masked woman turned back, coldly staring at Zhou Jing's departing figure. Once the cunning hare is dead, the hound will be cooked. Zhou Jing, your mission has been completed. It is time for you to find your own home. Whoosh, Su Yu descended upon the black door of the yard. Looking around coldly, he could no longer sense the aura of Zhou Jing and the mysterious master. There is something wrong with this place. Su Yu looked around. The place was unusually quiet, not even the sound of bugs could be heard. At this moment, a light breeze blew past. Su Yu's pupils dilated, abruptly turning his head to look at the woodshed. He carefully rushed over, opening a gap and looking inside. Hiss! Even Su Yu could not help but suck in a breath of cold air. In this small woodshed, there were actually 20 people's bones piled up. There were also 9 people chained to the wall, their bodies emitting a rotting stench. But they were not dead and still had a breath left. Every one of them had a pained expression, looking like a bag of bones. Swarms of flies circled them, preparing to enjoy the final feast of death. If that was all, Su Yu would not have been so shocked. What made him suck in a breath of cold air was that whether it was the 9 people or the pile of bones, their bodies were all mutilated. In the cabinets on both sides of the woodshed, there were huge jugs of water stored inside. Impressively, these jugs contained the parts that they had lost. They were tortured to death and had their organs cut out while they were still alive. Could such inhumane methods really be done by humans? Taking a closer look, the room was littered with pills that had yet to be processed. Using martial artists to test elixirs and conduct human experiments? Su Yu felt a chill run down his spine. Who was Zhou Jing's master? What was her motive? How could he do such a cruel and inhumane thing? Save me. Out of the 9, one of them managed to maintain a strand of consciousness. When he saw that there was someone outside, he weakly said, "Save me." Clang. Su Yu kicked the door open and rushed over in a flash. He lifted his finger, intending to destroy the chains and save him. His abdomen had been cut open and his internal organs had been hollowed out. Right now, he was barely hanging on by a thread. But just as Su Yu was about to save him, he shook his head. No, don't put me down. Kill me. Kill me. You're saving me. What kind of pain did he have to go through to beg for death? A fate worse than death. His organs had been cut out while he was still alive, and he had been subjected to cruel torture. He could neither live nor die. His only hope was to die. Su Yu's heart trembled, his palms trembling. Too cruel. Too vicious. He had killed countless people, but he had never tortured someone to such an extent. Who did this? Su Yu asked. The other party weakly said, it was Feng Pu. Before he could finish his sentence, he spat out a mouthful of black blood. At the same time, the other 8 people were convulsing, their mouths foaming. Their bodies were rotting at a speed visible to the naked eye. Quick, kill me. That person was like a crazed beast, letting out a shrill roar in pain, as if he was being tortured in hell. Su Yu slowly closed his eyes. Too cruel. He did not even give them a chance to live. Before that master left, he had given them poison. The poison caused them to self-destruct. Creak. Su Yu closed his eyes, a bolt of lightning streaking across his fingertips, turning them all into ashes. He had given them a quick death before they died. Even though the dust had settled, Su Yu's heart could not calm down. Who was Feng? Was he human? Where was he now? Su Yu bowed toward the many bodies in the room, then slowly retreated. In the future, if he met Feng, he would act on behalf of heaven, giving these martial artists who had died in vain a consolation. If it was difficult to meet Feng, Su Yu naturally would not waste his energy to find Feng and seek justice for them. This was the only promise a passerby like Su Yu could make to the dead. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Suddenly, the sound of a large group of martial artists breaking through the air could be heard from outside the courtyard. Su Yu creased his brows, sighing helplessly. In the end, I still fell for it. However, Zhou Jing, you cannot escape. Su Yu's eyes were filled with coldness. We are the patrol envoys of the Phoenix Cabinet. The person inside, come out. A cold female voice could be heard from outside the house. Su Yu walked out of the woodshed, his expression calm as he looked at the patrol envoys. They were all young women wearing fiery red armor. Their cultivation levels were around Immortal Realm Level 2. The beautiful woman in the lead had a cultivation level of Immortal Realm Level 3 peak. Even though she was over 30 years old, it was not hard to imagine that she was one of the most outstanding female disciples of the Phoenix Cabinet when she was younger. The beautiful woman had a delicate face, a slender figure, and looked extremely weak. But her jade-like face was constantly releasing a cold, unapproachable glow. What are you doing here? This house has long been listed as a forbidden ground. You are not allowed to enter. The cold woman stared at Su Yu with a cold, sharp gaze. Su Yu moved aside expressionlessly, his heart heavy. Take a look for yourselves. The beautiful leader raised her beautiful brows, both hands gripping the long sword at her waist as she stepped into the woodshed. In a moment she turned around and came out. Her beautiful face was as gloomy as an enraged lioness. Beneath her skin was a boundless fury. Capture him! Without hesitation, she pointed at Su Yu from afar. Su Yu creased his brows. Aren't you being too presumptuous? Capturing me without asking for the reason? I came here chasing an enemy and accidentally discovered this place. The culprit is someone else. Su Yu explained. Unexpectedly, while the beautiful woman was patrolling, she seemed to have been provoked, her eyes spitting flames of fury. She wanted to bite Su Yu to death. You still want to deny it? We received a report that the continuous disappearances of the Phoenix Fort were related to a white-robed youth. Hence, we rushed here to investigate. You dare to deny it when you are caught red-handed? The beautiful woman was filled with hatred, her killing intent surging. She scolded angrily, "Are you still human? How could you be so inhumane, committing such inhumane acts? I, Mu Tianfang, represent the Phoenix Cabinet to announce that I will execute you, a beast with a human's face but a beast's heart, in front of everyone." Su Yu said helplessly, "Miss Mu, I think you should investigate who the informant was. If I am really the instigator of all this, I would like to ask why you did not discover me after such a long time. This means that I was cautious. Why would I be so careless and allow myself to be caught red-handed?" Mu Tianfang was filled with disgust. "You mean that we did not catch you previously because we were incompetent?" Su Yu calmly said, "Yes, incompetent. Dozens of people were killed, but you did not have any clues. If not for me accidentally stumbling upon this place today, I'm afraid there would have been countless more people who would have died here." Mu Tianfang's beautiful face turned red with anger. You are shameless. It is not too late for us to catch you now. You do not need to deny it. I will only ask you one question. How did the 9 corpses die?" Mu Tianfang said coldly. Su Yu froze, sighing helplessly. "I used my lightning ability to end their lives." "Hee, do you still feel that you are innocent?" Mu Tianfang laughed coldly. "You are a man. You dare to do it, but do not dare to admit it? You dare to do such an insane thing, but do not dare to admit it?" Mu Tianfang was overbearing. The veins on Su Yu's forehead throbbed. This stupid woman. "I will say it one last time. Quickly investigate the informant. He might be the real murderer," Su Yu repeated. He also wanted to know if the patrol envoys could find out who the owner of this place was. "There is no need. I have already released him. Don't even think about finding out his identity and taking revenge." Mu Tianfang laughed coldly. "You do not repent even at death's door. You are a beast in human skin. There is no hope for you. I will give you one last chance. Surrender and come back with me to be punished." "Release him?" Su Yu was furious. "Stupid woman. Quickly find him and bring him back to me." Su Yu was furious. Mu Tianfang was stunned by his roar. She regained her senses, her face filled with shame and anger. "Damn thing. A person like you is not worthy of being brought back to the Phoenix Cabinet for trial. I will personally kill you, you beast." Su Yu was furious. This woman was so stupid that no medicine could save her. Chapter 356. Inexperienced brat, you still dare to be insolent in front of this lady. Being lectured by a nameless junior, Mu Tianfang didn't know whether she should laugh or get angry. "Don't worry about it, I'll do it myself." Mu Tianfang laughed angrily. "Dragon seizing hand." With a soft shout, Mu Tianfang's spiritual energy seeped out of her body and twined around her arms, condensing into 2 giant claws that were 5 feet long. It was tough and powerful, as if it could capture a real dragon. 2 giant claws slashed through the air, causing the air to tremble. The surrounding area of 30 m was completely suppressed by the enormous might of the heavens and the earth, causing one's heart to be uneasy and extremely oppressed. Su Yu was surprised. An immortal-level cultivation technique of Stage 2 lower class. As expected of the leader of the patrol envoys. Cultivating an immortal-level cultivation technique to the 2nd level was something that most people would find hard to achieve in their entire lives. With such momentum, even if it was someone of the same level, it would be difficult for them to escape the fate of being captured within 10 moves. However, it was a pity that she had run into Su Yu. Buzz buzz buzz. All of a sudden, Su Yu's body was surrounded by a mysterious and unusual natural concept. Su Yu, who was clearly right in front of them, gave them an illusory feeling. It was as if he had fused with nature and become the water, the earth, the sky, and a part of nature. Rumble, in the sky, the spiritual chi frantically scurried, forming an incomparably huge dark cloud above his head. The sky, which was clearly bright during the day, instantly darkened. Purple lightning dragons danced wildly in the clouds, as if they were waiting for their king's command. Tribulation of ice and thunder, Suyu bellowed. Ever since the frost chi skyrocketed, the power of the tribulation of ice and thunder had also skyrocketed. Inspector Bai he had perished under this move. Roar! The 100 zhang long purple dragon roared downwards, bringing with it lightning and ice, freezing everything on the great earth. Mu Tianfang raised her head solemnly, her eyes filled with astonishment. Divine grade, divine decree. There's actually someone who has cultivated the divine decree to such an extent. It's really unexpected. As the purple dragons attacked, Mu Tianfang switched from offense to defense. She raised both her palms towards the sky and said, "Let me capture your 2 purple dragons alive." Facing this, Mu Tianfang was not afraid at all and faced it head-on. Roar! The purple dragon roared angrily, lightning splashed, and ice fluttered. In the scene of a disaster, Mu Tianfang clenched her teeth and fought with all her might. She was actually able to resist the purple dragon. The stalemate continued for a full 10 breaths of time. In the end, the 1,000-foot-long purple dragon was whittled down to only 100 feet. However, Mu Tianfang could no longer hold on and the purple dragon pierced through her body. Crack! Chila, lightning and ice struck her body at the same time. A large part of her dress was burnt. The extreme cold froze her fragrant body with a layer of ice on the spot, causing her movements to become stiff and slow. Whoosh! Without waiting for her to dodge, Suyu approached her and tapped her forehead with his finger. "Stupid woman, I can kill you with a flick of my finger!" Suyu snorted angrily. He slowly lowered his finger and broke the ice that covered her body. Having been freed, Mu Tianfang's face flushed red like a piece of red cloth. Not only was he defeated by a yellow-haired brat, but he was also naked in front of everyone. Although everyone except Suyu was female, it still made her feel extremely embarrassed. Mu Tianfang grabbed a cloak from the patrol envoy beside her hurriedly and wrapped it around her exquisite body. She then clenched her teeth and glared at Suyu. You are shameless! You are shameless! You pervert!" Suyu couldn't help but laugh. "You fought your way here, and I ruined your clothes, yet you blame me for being shameless? Why yeah, I'm so pissed off. You still dare to quibble." Mu Tianfang was so angry that her whole body was trembling. "Stupid woman." Suyu gave a cold grunt. "If you continue to cause trouble, I will burn all your clothes." With Suyu's abilities, he could definitely do that. The rest of the patrol envoys were no match for Suyu. No one could stop Suyu. Mu Tianfang was angry and embarrassed, subconsciously grabbing the cloak that covered her body. "You dare! In this world, there is nothing that I don't dare to do if I want to," Suyu calmly said. Such confident words caused Mu Tianfang to have a misconception that this youth was really capable of doing anything. Mu Tianfang clenched her teeth, not daring to retort. "You have finally calmed down?" Suyu was calm. "A stupid woman like you can only be reasoned with by my fists." Mu Tianfang was so angry she almost vomited blood. She glared at Suyu fiercely. Suyu waved his hands. "All right, since you have calmed down, let's talk about what happened here. I think you know whether I am a suspect or not." Mu Tianfang was silent. Indeed, if Suyu was a suspect, he could have killed everyone present to prevent his true identity from being exposed. She had been too presumptuous and emotional when she insisted that Suyu was the culprit just now. Whoosh! Suyu took out his seal. The rest of the patrol envoys were shocked. "Deputy Palace Master? You are the Deputy Palace Master of the Empire of Darkness?" Mu Tianfang's pupils turned serious. "Inu. The legendary new Deputy Palace Master Inu? Unbelievable! He is the legendary genius, Palace Master Inu." One of the patrol envoys' eyes were filled with admiration. A few of the other Deputy Palace Masters also had a glow in their eyes. Silver hair, silver face, 16 or 17 years old. "It really is him, Palace Master Inu." Am I dreaming? I am actually fortunate enough to meet the legendary genius of the North Continent, Yin. Mu Tianfang stared at Su Yu in disbelief. Su Yu's name had spread throughout the North Continent long ago, especially during the battle at Anyu City. Su Yu had fought against a group of geniuses alone, killing tens of thousands of geniuses. For example, Wei Tianxian of the Snow Listening Tower, the young masters of the 8 great ancient clans, and even an inspector of Immortal Realm Level 3 peak. Such a terrifying battle record had spread throughout the Phoenix area. Everyone knew of him. He had risen like a comet, piercing through the skies of the North Continent, becoming a legend pursued by countless people of the same generation. He had killed an Immortal Realm Level 3 peak at the age of 16. Such a talent that shocked the North Continent would become a legend that the future generations would not be able to surpass. Many people had crowned his talent as a legendary genius. Now that they had seen him in person, how could the patrol envoys not be shocked? Among them, the eyes of a few girls rippled and their hearts were revealed. Even Mu Tianfang became much more respectful in that instant. This was the legendary genius of the North Continent. He had already defeated an Immortal Realm Level 3 peak. Taking a deep breath, Mu Tianfang bowed apologetically. Greetings, Mr. Yin. Please forgive us for the misunderstanding just now. Her attitude had changed by 180 degrees. Her suspicions of Su Yu were instantly dispelled. The reason was simple. When Palace Master Yin was still at the Empire's sub-palace, the Phoenix Fort had already gone missing. Hence, this matter was definitely not Yinu's doing. Yinu had no time to argue. Even though this lady was rash, she could admit her mistake in time and take the initiative to apologize. It was just a misunderstanding, don't worry about it. Let me ask you, where did the person who reported me go? Su Yu asked. It was obvious that the person who reported Su Yu was problematic. Mu Tianfang's face turned red, feeling guilty and ashamed. It was her stubbornness that had delayed the opportunity. Patrol envoys, listen up. Search the entire city for the person who reported you. Spread his portrait throughout the Phoenix Fort. Do not make any mistakes. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. A group of patrol envoys followed the order and left. I have offended you today. I will take my leave. Mu Tianfang was too ashamed to face Su Yu, cupping her fists as she bid farewell. Wait. Su Yu called out to her, saying seriously, Leader Mu, may I ask where Madame Zhou Jing came from? Zhou Jing's master was the real culprit. Mu Tianfang was surprised. She was a female disciple of the Phoenix Cabinet and was once one of the 10 great Phoenix women. She was beautiful and had above-average potential. But she suddenly left the Phoenix Cabinet and married the Yao family's young master, Yao Ling. Why are you asking her? Could it be that Palace Master Yin has heard of Madame Zhou's name even though he is in the sub-palace? The so-called Phoenix women were female disciples with great potential, similar to the ranking of the 10 great deputy palace masters. Su Yu shook his head. No, I am just asking. Zhou Jing was from the Phoenix Cabinet. Su Yu was shocked. She did not join the Yao family purely. What was her motive? After thinking for some time, Su Yu did not expose Zhou Jing's relationship with the master behind the disappearance cases. The reason was that Zhou Jing's identity was a little special. Without any evidence, it would be hard for the Phoenix Cabinet to believe that Zhou Jing was related to the disappearance cases. Thank you for telling me. That's right, I have another question. Su Yu was filled with anticipation. May I ask, how is Xiener doing in the Phoenix Cabinet? Mu Tianfang looked at Su Yu suspiciously. Xiener? The personal disciple of the Cabinet Master, the #1 Phoenix woman of the Phoenix Cabinet, Feng Xian? What relationship does she have with you calling her so intimately? #1 Phoenix woman, Feng Xian? Su Yu froze. In just a year, Xiener had improved so quickly, becoming the #1 Phoenix woman? But he immediately understood. The mysterious constitution of the Phoenix of Death was something that even Yun Yazi envied. It was no small matter. Becoming the #1 Phoenix woman was a little exaggerated, but it was not impossible. After confirming that Feng Xian was Qin Xianer, Su Yu finally heaved a sigh of relief, not hiding it. She is my fiancée. Oh, so she is your fiancée. Mu Tianfang nodded her head subconsciously. After that, her body trembled, her eyes as wide as copper bells. Her voice tripled in an instant, her voice shrill. What? You? She is your fiancée? Su Yu shrugged his shoulders. Why can't I? Mu Tianfang's mouth opened wide, her eyes wide. She only regained her senses after a long time, hurriedly hiding her strange expression, staring at Su Yu in shock. No, it is just too unexpected. The pure and noble Feng Xian actually has a fiancé? I've never heard of such a thing before. Xianer had already been molded into a pure and noble image? Su Yu could not help but smile. That lively and adorable little girl actually had such an image at that moment. It was fine as long as he was sure that she was safe. But after Mu Tianfang recovered from her shock, she could not help but hesitate. Is she really your fiancée? If that is the case, I'm afraid you are too late. What do you mean? Su Yu's heart sank, having a bad premonition. Mu Tianfang hesitated for a moment, full of sympathy. 3 days ago, the cabinet master organized a small blind date for Feng Xian, and it was Feng Xian who organized it. Chapter 357. What's lacking is just going through the official procedures at the Divine Phoenix Convention. What? Su Yu took a few steps back in disbelief. There was actually a martial arts competition and blind date in advance? Xianer had already been betrothed to Shinkong? Su Yu could not accept this ridiculous reality. He had traveled thousands of miles to come to the Phoenix cabinet. Was it not to take her away openly? However, the reality was that Su Yu was a step too late. Get over it. As a female disciple of Feng Xian level, the pavilion leader will not tolerate her disobedience. Even more so, he will not tolerate her being taken away by others. Therefore, there is nothing you can do. Pitter-patter. Su Yu clenched his fists tightly, and his bones cracked inch by inch. No. It wasn't over yet. The final result of the official Phoenix Cry meet has not been decided. Everything is not over yet. How could he give up on Xian so easily? Since he was unable to snatch it forcefully, he would choose Xian in front of everyone in an upright manner during the Phoenix meet. Mu Tianfang shook her head sympathetically. You are indeed the legendary genius Yin. Perhaps it is your persistence that has made you a legend in the northern continent. However, you really have no hope in the Phoenix meet. You are indeed very strong. However, there is still a huge gap between you and the 2 young masters of the Snow Listening Tower and the 2nd Deputy Palace Master, let alone the mysterious Palace Master Shinkong. With a tinge of reluctance in her eyes, Mu Tianfang retreated quickly. Before she left, she said, Tonight, there will be a bright moon banquet at the Phoenix Cry restaurant. Although it is called a banquet, it is actually a sparring session before the Phoenix meet. Although it won't be of much help to you, if you want to improve your ranking, perhaps you can go take a look. Phoenix Cry Pavilion? Bright Moon Banquet? Su Yu nodded without hesitation. Yin will definitely be there at midnight. Thank you for your reminder, Leader Mu. You're on your own. Mu Tianfang sighed sympathetically and flew away. Su Yu looked at the time and immediately returned to the vicinity of the Yao family, meeting up with Zi Yunxiang. Yunxiang, look for clues about Housemaster Zi in the city. I need to act alone. Su Yu could not bring Zi Yunxiang along, so the danger was even greater. Zi Yunxiang's expression darkened slightly, but she still smiled and obediently agreed. Su Yu was about to see his long-awaited fiancée. How could she delay it? A faint sense of loss reverberated in the depths of his heart. However, Zi Yunxiang had her own considerations. She desperately wanted to find her father, so she didn't have the time to wait for Su Yu. Now that she was free, she might be able to find her father. Protect yourself. Ziyunxiang looked at Su Yu deeply. She had a feeling that they were not far from each other. Su Yu's heart was moved, and he smiled to comfort her. He patted her shoulder and said, "You are the one. After the competition, let's meet at the city gate." And Ziyunxiang forced a smile and left. Su Yu watched as she disappeared into the crowd, then left for the bright moon banquet. However, at this moment, "He's here." Suddenly, a martial artist of the Yao family flew out from the Yao family with a vigilant expression. He looked down from the sky and suddenly noticed Su Yu's presence, letting out a cry of surprise. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. At that moment, from every corner of the Yao family, a large group of martial artists flew out, surrounding Su Yu so tightly that not even a drop of water could escape. The weakest among them was an immortal level 2, while the strongest was an immortal level 3. There were as many as 40 of them. This was the only remaining expert of the Yao family. They had mobilized such a huge lineup just to find Su Yu. Huqi, suddenly, a terrifying and powerful spirit energy pierced through the clouds, shooting into the sky from deep within the Yao family. That aura surprised Su Yu. It was immortal level 3 peak. A voluptuous woman wearing a long red robe scanned the surroundings. Her eyes were red and swollen, a clear sign that she was grief-stricken. Deep within her eyes was a hatred that seeped into her bones. She let out a piercing voice. "Where is he?" Following the gaze of the crowd, the red-robed middle-aged woman fixed her venomous eyes on Su Yu. "You killed my son?" the red-robed woman said through her teeth. It was like the voice of a ferocious ghost, sharp and piercing, cold and sinister. Su Yu looked around, calmly saying, "No." The red-robed woman's face contorted in hatred. "You! Lies. The experts of the family were killed by you. How could my son's death have nothing to do with you? And my daughter-in-law, did you kidnap her because you lusted after her beauty?" Su Yu turned a deaf ear to her roar, his expression calm. "The martial artist was indeed killed by me. Your son's death has nothing to do with me. I did not even touch a strand of his hair. Even though I would have killed him even if he had not died, his death has nothing to do with me." The red-robed woman laughed in anger. "What a joke! Just because you say you did not kill him, it doesn't make sense? Why don't you say that my daughter-in-law killed him and fled to escape punishment?" Hearing this, Su Yu had a strange expression. "So you knew it was your daughter-in-law who did it." In order to escape, Zhou Jing's blood eagle technique required the blood of a person. That person was Yao Ling. Nonsense. The red-robed woman laughed angrily. "You trespassed into the Yao family and killed my people, and you still dare to talk nonsense?" Su Yu shrugged. "I did not trespass, it was your daughter-in-law who brought me in. In the forest, I saved her from the jaws of an earth dragon snake. She brought me to the Yao family, saying that she wanted to repay a debt of gratitude. What I did not expect was that she and your son, Yao Ling, would collude and frame me for stealing her silver bow. She sent the Yao family's experts to surround me, only then did I retaliate. As for your daughter-in-law, seeing how powerful I was, in order to escape, she killed your son and used his blood to use the blood eagle technique to escape. That's what happened. Whether your daughter-in-law has the silver bow or not, as a mother-in-law, you are well aware of it. By the way, I would like to remind you to investigate your Yao family and see if there is something missing. Is such a beautiful woman really willing to marry your son?" His words caused the red-robed woman's expression to change. How could she not hear the credibility in Su Yu's words? Especially the matter of Zhou Jing marrying her son. In her eyes, it was suspicious. The people of the Phoenix area had their eyes on an ancient elixir recipe of the Yao family. It was not that she did not have her guard up against Zhou Jing. It was just that in the past 3 years she had been careless. But these thoughts only flashed past her mind for a moment. She glared at Su Yu with hatred. "Whatever you say is useless. Everyone is a witness. You massacred the Yao family. You cannot deny it." Su Yu sighed. He could not be bothered to argue. People only believe what they want to believe. You wanted to kill me to establish your authority, but you were afraid of Zhou Jing's background. Hence, the truth is not important to you. What is important is to kill the troublemaker immediately to maintain the Yao family's authority, isn't that right? Su Yu believed that she already knew the truth. Unfortunately, for the Yao family's authority, he had to kill the troublemaker to shut the mouths of the crowd. If that is the case, I can only say that you have found the wrong person. Su Yu's eyes flashed with killing intent. At that moment, a blue shadow descended like lightning. A cold demonic beast aura, extreme speed and a piercing cry. Wasn't that Deputy Palace Master Lu Li's blue fantasy bird? As expected, on the back of the blue fantasy bird stood an imposing man with his hands clasped behind his back. His eyes were empty and indifferent, looking down from above. "Yin Yu, did you forget my warning? Don't give me trouble." The red-robed lady's pupils dilated. She turned pale with shock. Palace Master Lu Li. Her eyes were filled with fear. An immortal realm level 4. This kind of extraordinary ability was enough to kill the entire Yao family. Wait, then, you are Palace Master Yin Yu? The red-robed lady finally realized the identity of the silver-haired youth in front of her. Lu Li looked at Su Yu indifferently. "I am asking you a question. Answer." Su Yu did not even look him in the eye, ignoring his words. He only looked at the red-robed lady indifferently. "Speak, what do you want?" "I, Yin Yu, will accompany you to the end." The red-robed lady had a conflicted expression. If Su Yu was a normal youth, she would naturally kill him to establish her authority. But Su Yu was not a normal youth. He was a legendary genius of the North Continent. How could she dare to kill such a person? Especially since it was highly likely that Yao Ling was not killed by him. "So it is Palace Master Yin Yu. I will investigate this matter thoroughly." The red-robed lady gave in, intending to turn a big problem into a small one. But at this moment, Lu Li indifferently said, "Madam Yao, I am sorry. I did not discipline my deputy palace masters well, causing the death of your son, Yao Ling." Toward Su Yu, Lu Li's words were cold. But toward the Yao family, he was a little respectful. But the most infuriating thing was, Madame Yao herself admitted that the truth needed to be investigated. Hence, the matter was dropped. But Lu Li jumped out, insisting that Yao Ling's death was caused by Su Yu. He also stated that he did not discipline Su Yu well. In the end, was Lu Li on the side of the Empire of Darkness or the Yao family? "Madam Yao, give me some face. Let Yin Yu kowtow and apologize first. As for the exact compensation, let him make it up in the future. In the future, I will also discipline him more strictly. How about we drop this matter?" Madame Yao froze, her expression strange. She herself had given up on pursuing the matter. But this palace master Lu Li was standing on her side and punishing Su Yu? Hearing this, Su Yu did not know how to describe the feeling in his heart. Madame Yao had let go of the matter, but Palace Master Lu Li had come to seek justice for her. He wanted Su Yu, who was also a deputy palace master, to be severely punished. Furthermore, he said that he was giving Su Yu some face. It was as if Su Yu could have been absolved of responsibility. But now, he had to kowtow, apologize and compensate. He was giving Lu Li face. This was simply inexplicable. "Ha, Madame Yao, do you dare to accept my apology?" Su Yu said with his hands behind his back, his lips forming a cold smile. Madame Yao shuddered. Su Yu's infamy in Anua City might not have spread to the distant Empire of Darkness sub-palace, but the Phoenix Fort had long since spread. This legendary genius had the battle record of killing an immortal realm level 3 peak. How could she dare to offend him? No need. Madame Yao said, embarrassed. Lu Li's nostrils flared as he let out a long hum. He rolled his eyes and looked askance at Su Yu, coldly saying, "Yin Yu, what kind of attitude is this? This matter can only be resolved because of me. With such an attitude, where do you put my efforts? Chapter 358. At the same time, take your efforts with you and scram as far away as possible. Suyu glanced at him with disdain. No one asked you to meddle in other people's business, don't think too highly of yourself. Lu Li's expression froze, but he recovered his calm expression, calmly looking down at Suyu. Stubborn? A person like you will only know when to advance and retreat after suffering a loss. I will no longer interfere in your affairs. Whether you live or die, it has nothing to do with me. I'm warning you one last time, don't give me trouble. Let's go. Riding the blue eagle, Lu Li soared into the sky. Suyu laughed. What a joke. When have I ever caused trouble for you? Meddling in other people's business, and you have bad intentions. Lu Li shook his head. The more lowly a person is, the more they like to maintain their fearless pride. Inu, I feel sorry for you. Whoosh! The blue illusion eagle turned into a blue afterimage, disappearing into the sky. Suyu sighed. I also feel sorry for you. As if hearing Suyu's sigh, Lu Li turned to look at the ground, at the tiny Suyu, helplessly muttering, what a hopeless person. On the ground. Suyu turned to stare coldly at Madame Yao. I've embarrassed myself. Since the meddlesome person has left, you can attack without worry. Let us settle our scores. Knowing Suyu's identity, how would Madame Yao dare to settle scores with him? Putting aside Suyu's identity as a deputy palace master, his abilities were not something Madame Yao could afford to offend. Palace Master Inu, you have misunderstood. It was Zhou Jing who framed the Yao family. Please do not fall for it. Madame Yao's expression changed, forcing out a stiff smile. Suyu retracted his cold expression. At least you know what's good for you. If this person did not know what was good for him, Suyu did not mind killing and erasing the Yao family. Hearing this, Madame Yao secretly heaved a sigh of relief. I have frightened Mr. Inu. Please come in, I would like to express my apologies. Lightly waving his hands, Suyu calmly said, there is no need. Hurry and investigate the whereabouts of your daughter-in-law. That's right, let me ask you something. Suyu's pupils glowed. What kind of elixir is the ancient elixir recipe of the Yao family? Madame Yao's expression changed drastically, turning ashen. It was only because she was afraid of Suyu's strength that she dared not voice her anger. Although it was highly possible that Suyu did not kill his son, many of the Yao family's experts had died at Suyu's hands. This was a blood feud. However, Suyu had not only killed many of the Yao family's martial artists without restraint, he had also brazenly coveted the Yao family's ancient elixir recipes. The other party was simply going too far. I am not interested in your elixir formula. Put away your pointless worries. I only want to know what the elixir is used for so many people to flock to it. Suyu guessed that what Zhou Jingmu wanted was most likely the elixir formula. Madame Yao was stunned. The killing intent that was about to erupt was suddenly withdrawn. She said in a relaxed manner, so you are here to inquire about this. The 9-death pill is not a secret. There are many people who know about it. It only has one use, and that is, after it is consumed, it can destroy the Dantian. Within the immortal realm, it is effective at any level. Suyu's gaze turned serious. Then, your Yao family should not have this elixir anymore, right? Madame Yao could not help but shiver. For the first time, she realized how profound Palace Master Inu was. As for whether the Yao family still had such elixirs, the outside world had differing opinions. However, Suyu was certain that the Yao family no longer had such elixirs. Mr. Inu, why do you say that? Madame Yao asked. Suyu laughed indifferently. If your Yao family still had such elixirs, would there be a place for the Yao family in the North Continent? Which large force would not be afraid of a nature-defying elixir that could destroy any immortal realm fighter? To them, such a powerful weapon was a hidden danger that they had to control. For the Yao family to remain safe and sound in the Phoenix Fort like a normal family, it could be seen that such elixirs no longer existed in the world. Madame Yao was shocked. What a wise deputy palace master! Nodding her head heavily, Madame Yao said seriously, Palace Master Yin is right. Elixirs have long been lost. Even with the elixir formula and materials, it is impossible to refine them. The first 9 death pill was not refined. It was found in a relic. Our Yao family had been researching how to refine it for hundreds of years. In the end, we discovered that this elixir could not be refined. This is because this elixir does not belong to the Zhenlong continent. It lacks the mysterious energy that the Zhenlong continent does not have. Unless it was personally refined by a fighter from outside the Zhenlong continent, this elixir is impossible. In other words, this is a useless elixir formula. The mysterious energy that the Zhenlong continent does not have? Suyu pondered. Could there be a region outside the Zhenlong continent? If that was the case, the 9 death pill did not exist in the world. This was the reason why the various super forces were not worried. Understanding the 9 death pill, Suyu was slightly relieved. If that is the case, I will take my leave. Suyu took to the skies, shooting toward the bright moon banquet. Phoenix Tower. The property of the Phoenix Cabinet, a luxurious building. In the past, it was packed with people. Today, it was heavily guarded. That was because tonight was the bright moon banquet for the geniuses of the various forces. Occasionally, some young geniuses would enter based on their status. Please show me your identity. A row of guards blocked the middle of the entrance, asking Suyu for his identity. Suyu did not hesitate, taking out Deputy Palace Master Yinyu's seal. The leader of the guards at the entrance, an Immortal Realm Level 3 peak middle-aged man, personally took the seal. After looking, his brows twitched. Deputy Palace Master Yinyu? You? Please wait for a moment, we need to verify the authenticity of the seal. The leader was expressionless, using a businesslike tone as he passed the seal to the guards at the entrance. Whoosh! At this moment, a figure leisurely walked over from the side and casually threw out a frost-covered leaf from his bosom. Suyu's eyes were sharp, clearly seeing the name carved on the leaf. Zhong Yanchen. The expressionless leader's expression changed. His expressionless face forced a smile, cupping his fists. Welcome, Mr. Yanchen, to the Bright Moon Banquet. Please enter. With just a glance, the leader returned the ice leaf with both hands. At this moment, Suyu sized up the newcomer. He was a purple-robed man around 20 years old, his appearance beautiful, even more so than a woman's. His figure was tall and straight, his purple robes fluttering in the wind. He walked with his head held high, his appearance imposing. He extended 2 slender fingers, elegantly retrieving the ice leaf. He looked straight ahead, brushing past Suyu as he stepped into the building. In comparison, Suyu's seal was still being tested. A little dissatisfied, Suyu restrained himself, waiting patiently. It was his fault for becoming famous too late. There were only a few people in the North Continent who recognized his appearance. At this moment, 2 more people calmly walked over. The 2 of them walked shoulder to shoulder. The one on the right was around 20 years old, wearing a white robe. His expression was calm and tranquil, his steps steady, his demeanor casual. His cultivation level caused Suyu's pupils to dilate. Immortal Realm Level 4. This person's abilities were frightening. The one on the left was a young girl in pink, about 18 years old. She had a cute appearance, her eyes darting around. She was extremely intelligent, leaning against the white-robed youth, relying on him. Her abilities were slightly weaker, but she was at Immortal Realm Level 3 peak, not weak at all. What powerful abilities! Suyu was secretly shocked. The leader saw the 2 of them from afar, slightly stunned. Please show me your identity, he said in a businesslike manner. The girl in pink opened her eyes wide, panting with anger. Hey, are you blind? How can I not recognize the Shintian Manor's first heavenly king, Sword Demon Zhongluan, and the second heavenly king, Peach Blossom Rain, Jiang Mufei? 2 heavenly kings of the Shintian manor? Su Yu squinted his eyes, sizing them up cautiously. Ever since Housemaster Zi's whereabouts had been unknown, Gao Tsang, who was ranked third among the 3 heavenly kings, had sided with Han Jianglin. The other 2 heavenly kings had refused and were imprisoned. Why had they appeared at the Phoenix meet today? The leader was filled with respect. So the 2 of you are Sword Demon Zhongluan and Peach Blossom Rain, Jiang Mufei? Sorry for not recognizing you. The leader had clearly heard of their reputations. Zhongluan smiled lovingly at Jiang Mufei. Mufei, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. Show me your identity. Jiang Mufei pouted and unwillingly took out her identity and threw it over. However, she heard Zhongluan's warm smile. Furthermore, even the famous Yin is waiting patiently. Mufei, how can you be rash? Jiang Mufei was shocked. Yin? Which Yin? Of course. Deputy Palace Master Yin of the 100 Territories Alliance. Zhongluan smiled, looking toward Su Yu, cupping his fists. Brother Yin, I have been looking forward to meeting you for a long time. It is my honor to finally meet you in person. Jiang Mufei opened her eyes wide. She jogged toward Su Yu and walked 1 round around him. She examined Su Yu from head to toe, not missing a single detail. Her cute face wore an exaggerated expression of shock. Are you really the silver demon genius Yin who killed more than half of the 10 great geniuses at the Alliance meet? Silver demon genius? Su Yu smiled. He had left behind such a title in the 100 Territories Alliance? It was likely that Su Yu had killed many people that day, and his ruthlessness had shocked the 100 Territories Alliance. Furthermore, his unique silver hair had earned him the title of Silver Demon. Su Yu looked toward Zhongluan, cupping his fists in return. Greetings, Zhongluan. It is a pity that I did not have the opportunity to meet you while I was at the 100 Territories Alliance. If not, I would have paid you a visit and asked for your guidance. Zhongluan's smile was warm, like a spring breeze. I am sorry that I was unable to get to know the future legendary genius of the northern continent earlier. If you don't mind, I hope that I can ask the legendary genius, Brother Yin, for some advice on the martial path. Su Yu nodded his head. I do not dare to seek guidance. We can exchange pointers together. Jiang Mufei was ignored, her lips pouting. I am easy to exchange pointers with. I want one too. Su Yu and Zhongluan could not help but smile at the same time. The leader's expression finally changed. It was really Deputy Palace Master Yin. His expression finally became respectful, hurriedly receiving the seal, returning it with both hands. So it really is Deputy Palace Master Yin. I have eyes but failed to recognize you. I hope Palace Master Yin can forgive me. It is just that there have been many strong fighters in the city recently. There have been many cases of low-class people pretending to be strong fighters from the various territories to cheat. I had no choice but to be cautious. Please do not blame me. Su Yu and Zhongluan dismissed the matter with a laugh, magnanimous and forgiving. Jiang Mufei, on the other hand, was unforgiving. She wrinkled her nose, muttering, Forget it, it is just that we are not famous enough. Why did you not check the identity of the Snow Listening Tower's second son, Zhongyenshin? Chapter 359. The leader had an embarrassed expression, respectfully inviting the group of people to enter. Brother Yin, the Bright Moon Banquet is split into 3 seats. Heaven, Earth, and Human. Which seat are you planning to sit at? Jiang Mufei replied without hesitation, Of course the heaven seat. That is the best place to admire the moon. It is rumored that one will receive a shred of moonlight essence there, nourishing the soul and bringing unimaginable benefits. Su Yu thought for a moment, then replied with a smile, Of course the human seat. I am here to observe the battle quietly, not to show my face in front of the crowd. Haha, I cannot agree with Brother Yin's intentions. He agreed with Su Yu, keeping a low profile. They entered the second level, the full moon stage. There were 50 to 60 geniuses from various areas, occupying the small full moon stage. There were a total of 10 tables. One heaven seat could only seat 5 people. There were 3 floor mats, and each table could only seat 5 people. The last was the human seat, the lowest. Su Yu and Zhong Luan sat calmly at the human seat. Su Yu had become famous too late, and there were not many who recognized him. Zhong Luan and Jiang Mufei were famous, but they rarely appeared in the North Continent. There were not many who recognized them. Seriously, why do we have to sit here? Jiang Mufei muttered unhappily, but her attention was quickly drawn to Su Yu. Hey, Inu, how did you cultivate? You're younger than me by a year. How are you so powerful? Su Yu smiled. In terms of talent, Jiang Mufei was the truly terrifying one. Compared to Zhong Luan, and even the many deputy palace masters of the Empire of Darkness, she was much stronger. An 18-year-old Immortal Realm Level 3 peak. How terrifying was that? Su Yu had reached Immortal Realm Level 3 upper tier at the age of 17, but he had relied on the Divine Nine-Dragon Cauldron and the resources of the Empire of Darkness. In comparison, Jiang Mufei had relied on herself to reach such a level. That was absolutely unheard of. She was the scariest genius of the North Continent. If given time, she would definitely become a legend of the North Continent. You are the truly powerful one. Su Yu smiled warmly. He always had a good impression of straightforward people. Then what kind of cultivation methods did you cultivate? Rumor has it that you killed Immortal Realm Level 2 Lu Jun at Dragon Realm Level 5. You are too powerful, I admire you. Zhong Luan flicked her forehead with his finger, his expression stern. Nonsense. It is a great taboo to pry into the details of other people's cultivation method. Moreover, the meeting is just around the corner. It is very inappropriate for you to be so rash. If he were to reveal the details of his cultivation technique, it would be easy for his enemies to find a way to counter it. It was indeed inappropriate for him to ask about it in such a manner. I'm just curious, I won't ask. Jiang Mufei pouted, her cute face full of grievances. Su Yu shook his head. No matter. My cultivation technique isn't a secret, so there's no harm in knowing. I mainly cultivate the lightning and ice paths, and I have comprehended the divine decree. I also know a few space and time magical powers. That's all, Su Yu said. He had fought with others many times, so it wasn't difficult for him to find out. It wasn't a secret. Zhong Luan had an apologetic expression. I am sorry to have caused Brother Inu to laugh at me. Mu Fei is stubborn and mischievous, and she insisted on following me to the Phoenix Meet to gain some experience. I had no choice but to bring her along. The Phoenix Meet was a blind date between many young talents and the female martial artists of the Phoenix Cabinet. It wasn't appropriate for women to come here. Who asked Senior Zhong Luan to dote on me? Jiang Mufei lifted her chin proudly, snuggling into Zhong Luan's embrace. She was deeply attached to him. As for Zhong Luan, he lowered his head and looked at his coquettish junior, his eyes filled with love. Su Yu smiled to himself. It was as if there were feelings between the two of them, other than being senior and junior. But the two of them were compatible. At this moment, the moon was high above the willow tree. Dusk had arrived, and the silver moon hung in the sky. The moon gazing had begun, and the guests had all arrived. But what was strange was that there was no one else in the heaven seats, other than the second son of the snow listening tower, Zhou Yanchen. He sat alone at a table, looking out of place. He himself also looked a little unnatural, looking around. Suddenly, he seemed to have noticed someone, his gaze fixed on Su Yu's table. He stood up, cupping his fists toward Zhong Luan. So it's Sword Demon Zhong Luan. With your status, how can you sit at such a table? Quickly, come to the heaven seats. Suddenly, he noticed Jiang Mufei, his eyes lighting up. Could this be Peach Blossom Rain, Jiang Mufei? You must have followed Senior to the human seat. Come to the heaven seat. The exchange of experience here is more valuable and beneficial to you. What? It's the sword demon and peach blossom rain from the Shintian manor. In an instant, the guests were shocked, all of them looking toward the most inconspicuous human seats. The guests at the same table were filled with respect. All of a sudden, someone recognized Suyu. Wait, the silver-haired youth beside the sword demon, could it be the legendary genius of the North Continent, Inu? What? It's him? He's also participating in the Phoenix meet. It's hard to imagine that the rumors were true. He is only 16 or 17 years old. In an instant, the crowd was in an uproar. In terms of focus, Suyu even surpassed the famous Zhong Luan and Jiang Mufei. It was not because Suyu was stronger than the two of them, but because Suyu was a newly promoted genius of the younger generation. Coupled with the fact that he had just caused a sensation in Anua City, he naturally attracted attention. So, you are Inu. A cold voice came from the heaven seat. It was Zhou Nianchen, his eyes as cold as a blade, filled with killing intent. Junior Tianchen and Junior Shui, were they killed by you, just like the rumors say? His cold question was like a sharp arrow, piercing through the crowd and heading straight for Suyu. In that instant, the commotion of the crowd came to a stop. Their expressions changed, and they kept quiet out of fear. It was rumored that in Anua City, it was Palace Master Inu who had killed the two sons of the Snow Listening Tower. Their deaths had created Inu's reputation. Yes. Suyu casually poured a cup of wine, not even looking at Zhou Nianchen. In the eyes of outsiders, his attitude was that of an insolent, overbearing, and reckless youth. Have you ever regretted it? The consequences of killing the people of the Snow Listening Tower. Without waiting for him to finish, Suyu calmly replied, "They deserve to be killed, why should I regret it?" Zhou Nianchen was speechless. His aura had not suppressed Suyu in the slightest. The muscles on his face twitched, and Zhou Nianchen coldly shouted, "My two juniors died in your hands, and you do not have any regrets. Since that is the case, don't blame me for being ruthless." But Suyu's expression was still calm. He gently took a sip of wine, calmly saying, "Stop. Wait at least an hour before you act." "Are you afraid?" Zhou Nianchen said coldly. Suyu shook his head, "No." "Then what is it? You want to live for an hour more?" Zhou Nianchen creased his brows. Suyu calmly said, "I am giving you an hour to prepare a coffin for yourself." SSSSS. The people at the Bright Moon stage gasped. Arrogant. Unparalleled arrogance. He dared to challenge Immortal Realm Level 4 Zhou Nianchen, asking him to bring a coffin. How overbearing and arrogant was that? Zhou Nianchen froze for a moment, his expression turning sinister. In the end, he let out a long, sinister laugh, he. There were many people like you, arrogant in front of me. But there are none now because they are all dead. I will also give you a choice. Do you want your corpse intact, or do you want to be decapitated? Suyu held his wine cup, revealing a smile. Being decapitated is too cruel. It is better to be decapitated. Zhou Nianchen walked out of his seat, the terrifying aura of an Immortal Realm Level 4 engulfing the entire place like a tsunami. He let out a cold smile. "As you wish, I will leave your corpse intact." Chapter 360. The full moon stage was silent, not a sound could be heard. Only the rustling of the wind could be heard. The geniuses present all stared at Suyu, secretly clicking their tongues. Where did Palace Master Inu get the confidence to say such harsh words? In terms of status, Zhou Nianchen was the second son of the Snow Listening Tower, famous throughout the North Continent. He did not fear Suyu. But in terms of abilities, there was an insurmountable gap between the Immortal Realm Level 4 Zhou Nianchen and Suyu. Suyu, who was merely Immortal Realm Level 3 peak, would not be Zhou Nianchen's match in a direct confrontation. Where did he get the confidence to be so powerful? Chirp. At this moment, the moon in the sky turned into a dreamy blue afterimage. A clear bird cry reverberated through the clouds, lasting for a long time. Blue fantasy bird. Zhong Yenshin's pupils turned serious, his expression turning ugly. His gaze returned to Su Yu, full of disdain. So this is where your confidence comes from. The crowd of geniuses understood. No wonder he is so arrogant. Palace Master Lu Li is his greatest support. I'm a little disappointed. Relying on others to intimidate others is not considered a skill. The legendary genius is just SOSO. The surrounding geniuses sighed. Whoosh, a figure descended from the sky. Behind him was a bright moon, and the soles of his feet were silver clouds. His robes fluttered in the wind. His face was cold and his hands were clasped behind his back. Under the moonlight, he looked imposing. Looking up, he was like a god of war with the moon on his back, white clouds beneath his feet, overlooking the world. Endless dominance and calmness enveloped the full moon stage. That was the second Vice Palace Master of the North Continent's sub-palace, Lu Li. It was rumored that he was a peerless expert who rarely made a move. Zhong Yenshin's expression was solemn. If one observed closely, the corners of his eyes were trembling. That was an expression of nervousness. Jiang Mufei raised her head and stared. On her delicate little face, the cute and innocent look had long disappeared and was replaced by a serious look. He is very strong. Jiang Mufei let out a light breath. There were many people like her. Lu Li's appearance was like the arrival of a king. The entire place was dead silent. There were only two people who had relaxed expressions, Su Yu and Zhong Luan. The two of them acted as if there was no one else around them. They raised their cups and sipped their wine, ignoring Lu Li's arrival. Brother Yin, are you not going to greet your second palace, Master Lu Li? Zhong Luan smiled warmly. Su Yu raised his head and finished the wine in one gulp. He then smiled calmly and said, "There is no need for that. He might not want me to come." The news of the Bright Moon banquet had been told by Mu Tianfang, an outsider. Lu Li had not told her anything at all. It was obvious that he didn't want Su Yu to participate. In other words, he had never thought of Su Yu's existence. The conversation between the two of them was not loud, but in the silence it was hard not to hear it. As Lu Li slowly descended, he could not help but glance over. Only then did he realize that Su Yu was also present, and he was slightly surprised. Hearing Su Yu's words, Lu Li said coldly, "If you have the time to attend the gathering, why don't you cultivate quietly? If your ability is inferior to others, then you must work 100 times harder than others. If you waste time here, how can you be worthy of the Empire's nurturing?" His expression was indifferent as he looked down at Su Yu. He sounded like he was lecturing him. Su Yu was leisurely pouring himself a cup of wine and casually asked, "Then, why did you come here?" Su Yu was wasting time here, but was Lu Li not? "Since when did you have the right to compare yourself to me? My abilities allow me to be distracted, but you are not." Lu Li floated down, sitting on the heaven seat under the gazes of the crowd. Su Yu calmly shook his head. "Is that so? The strongest palace master Shen Kong and the snow-listening tower's eldest son are cultivating in peace. You, who are inferior to them, are resting here and wasting your time. How can you be worthy of the Empire's nurturing?" The same words were returned to Lu Li. A true strong martial artist will only compare himself to a stronger martial artist. Just like you, finding fault with people who are inferior to you, seeking a sense of accomplishment. "You are worse than me," Su Yu said, hitting the nail on the head. Lu Li had an indifferent expression, looking at Su Yu as if he was a stranger. "At least I am stronger than you, and I have the right to educate you. That is enough." Su Yu chuckled. "You only think that you are stronger than me. That is all. Continue living in your fantasy world. The cruel reality will teach you a lesson in blood." Lu Li calmly shook his head, raising his cup to drink. Su Yu chuckled, not replying. This Lu Li looked arrogant, but in reality, he valued vanity. He liked to show off his superiority in front of outsiders. Outside the Yao family, he took matters into his own hands to uphold justice. Here, he thought that he was infallible to teach Su Yu a lesson. Furthermore, even though he had arrived at the Bright Moon banquet earlier than Su Yu, he had to wait until the last moment, when everyone had taken their seats, when everyone had begun admiring the moon. It was as if he was the focus of the entire Bright Moon banquet. How pretentious! Jiang Mufei wrinkled her nose, letting out a grunt. Zhong Luan looked at Lu Li profoundly, laughing. There are many kinds of people. Whether they are vain or pretentious, they have their own way of life. Why should we care? But his judgment is hard to compliment. It was foolish of him to look down on Brother Yin, Zhong Luan calmly said. Jiang Mufei stared with wide eyes, getting close to Su Yu's face. You are stronger than him? Senior Zhong Luan is very good at judging people. He has never been wrong. Su Yu was embarrassed. Brother Zhong Luan is too kind. I am merely an Immortal Realm Level 3 junior. I don't care. I will fight with you later to see how powerful you are. Jiang Mufei's beautiful eyes burned with fighting spirit. At the heaven seat, Zhou Nianquan's gaze flickered. Palace Master Lu Li, your third Palace Master killed 2 of my juniors in Anhua City. I would like to settle the score with him here. Is that possible? Lu Li was stunned. Su Yu had killed 2 young masters in Anhua City? News of what had happened in Anhua City had yet to reach the sub-palaces, so he did not know. But Wei Tianqin and Zhang Xue were merely Immortal Realm Level 3 upper tier and Immortal Realm Level 3 lower tier, so they were nothing to worry about. At this moment, the crowd of geniuses became excited, finally realizing what had happened. It seemed like Yin Yu and Lu Li did not have a good relationship. Yin Yu's act of relying on Palace Master Lu Li to intimidate others might be exposed. Lu Li, who was being watched, shot a fierce glare at Su Yu. I have already warned you twice not to cause trouble for me. You have disobeyed me time and time again, ignoring my words? Without waiting for Su Yu's reply, Lu Li berated, It is even worse this time. You dare to use my name to cause trouble and fight with others? You are hopeless. This time, I will not bother with you. You will settle the trouble you caused yourself. Lu Li flicked his sleeves in anger. The crowd was silent. The people who were secretly mocking Su Yu rose and fell. Yin Yu has really pushed himself too far, trying to use the tiger's skin. To think that he cannot back down now. This is an interesting topic. Let's see how Yin Yu deals with this. Just now, he was shouting about fighting and killing. Now that he no longer has Palace Master Lu Li's support, I wonder if he still has the confidence. To everyone's surprise, Su Yu was unexpectedly calm, his lips curling into a mocking smile. I am indeed causing trouble. What does that have to do with you? Have you forgotten what I told you? Don't think too highly of yourself. No one asked you to be a busybody. These words caused many of the geniuses to be dumbfounded. Yin Yu was actually so disrespectful to Lu Li, who he was relying on. Chapter 361. The geniuses were petrified. No matter how stupid they were, they knew that Su Yu's backing was not Palace Master Lu Li. That was merely their wishful thinking. Lu Li's expression was calm, replying coldly. However, a crack appeared on the teacup in his hand. The clear wine in the wine cup rippled. Inside, Liu Li was very angry. Zhou Nianquan's expression turned cold, slamming the table. Yin Yu, I really do not know how you managed to survive until today. The only person who can help you is the second Palace Master, but you mocked him for your pitiful pride. After losing your backing, you did not keep a low profile when facing a strong opponent you knew you could not defeat. Instead, you incited conflict and put yourself in a more dangerous situation. You have such emotional intelligence. To be able to survive until today, I have to say that the heavens are too fond of you. The geniuses were at a loss. The legendary genius was just a guy with brawn but no brains? Su Yu smiled as he put down his cup, slowly standing up. Do you still have more to say? If you are, let's begin. I will leave your corpse in one piece, as I said. Zhou Nianchen laughed coldly. I have seen people rushing to reincarnate, but this is the first time I have seen someone so anxious. Since that is the case then. But just as they were prepared to fight, a group of red figures hurried over from below the pavilion. Their figures were graceful, their abilities strong, and they were the famous patrol envoys of the Phoenix Fort. The leader of the patrol envoys had delicate features and a well-proportioned figure. Even though she was over 30 years old, she was still beautiful. Greetings, Leader Mu. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The genius's expressions changed, hurriedly standing up to welcome her. Even Zhou Nianchen and Lu Li stood up to show their respect. Only Su Yu and Zhong Luan sat calmly. The most shocking thing was that Zhong Luan had a smile on his face, standing up and cupping his fist. Greetings, Leader Mu. Su Yu was completely confused. What did Mu Tianfang do to deserve the respect of so many people? Even Zhong Luan had to show her some respect. Everyone, please take a seat. I was ordered by my master to host this banquet. Due to an important matter, please forgive me for being late. Mu Tianfang cupped her fists in return. The crowd replied politely, carefully sitting down. Their gazes were fixed on Mu Tianfang. Jiang Mufei's face was full of envy. That's Mu Tianfang? It is rumored that he is the in-name disciple of the Phoenix Cabinet's master. An in-name disciple of the Phoenix Cabinet's master? Su Yu was slightly surprised. Mu Tianfang had such an identity? No wonder the geniuses here had to give him some face. She was someone who could speak for the Phoenix Cabinet's master. They were participating in the Phoenix meet this time around for a blind date. If they left a bad impression on her and the Phoenix Cabinet's master heard about it, it would definitely affect the blind date. Mu Tianfang was not in a hurry to sit down. Instead, she scanned the heaven seat. Noticing that it was only Lu Li and Zhou Nianchen, he couldn't help but frown. Palace Master Yin Yu is not here? Silver Plume. The geniuses were dumbfounded. Why would a registered disciple of the Phoenix Cabinet know Yin Yu? Moreover, he was singled out as soon as he arrived? Looking at the row of patrolling envoys with rustling silver on them, many geniuses felt nervous. Looking at their posture, it seemed like the patrolling envoys were carrying out a mission. Could it be that they were here to capture Yin Yu? Lu Li raised his brows and shot a cold glare at Su Yu. How many times do I have to warn you? Causing trouble for me again? It was getting more and more serious each time. Tell me, what crime did you commit to provoke Leader Mu to capture you personally? Hearing this, the geniuses were speechless, secretly speechless. Palace Master Yin Yu was too daring. What did he do to anger Mu Tianfang? Zhou Nianchen revealed an expression of schadenfreude. He did not have to do anything, there would be someone else to deal with him. But what caused everyone to be petrified was, Mu Tianfang creased her brows and looked toward Lu Li. Who are you? Palace Master Lu Li forced out a smile. I am Palace Master Lu Li, greetings to Leader Mu, but before he could finish, Mu Tianfang interrupted him. Palace Master Lu Li, I am looking for Yin Yu to discuss something with him. What trouble did he cause you? What crime did he commit? I have not even opened my mouth, yet you insist that he committed a heinous crime. Mu Tianfang was a little displeased with Lu Li. Since you are both from the Empire of Darkness, shouldn't you be more united outside and take care of him? You reprimanded him in front of everyone, how could he still have any face left? Her words caused Lu Li to be extremely embarrassed, the muscles on his face extremely stiff. The geniuses could not help but laugh. Lu Li was the one who was truly embarrassed. But Mu Tianfang had actually looked for Yin Yu to discuss something? What kind of relationship did they have? Glancing at Lu Li, Mu Tianfang waved towards Su Yu. Yin Yu, sit here. With your status and abilities, there will be a place for you in the heaven seat. Su Yu was a little surprised. Even though this Mu Tianfang was a little foolish, she was not a bad person. No need, this place is quiet, why would I invite trouble? Su Yu smiled. Mu Tianfang glanced at the gloomy Lu Li and the unfriendly Zhou Yanqian, curled her lips, and gracefully sat in front of Su Yu's table. Haha, your ability to attract hatred is top-notch. Mu Tianfang recalled how she had been driven mad by Su Yu when she first met him, and could not help but gloat. Su Yu shrugged. Thank you for the compliment. How was it, did you find the informant? Mu Tianfang's expression turned serious. No, furthermore. Su Yu's eyes glowed. Furthermore, the informant has already been silenced, right? Mu Tianfang was shocked, looking Su Yu up and down. TSK, I could not tell that you are quite smart. He is indeed dead, killed by a finger, and there are no traces left. Mu Tianfang was distressed. Su Yu sighed secretly. It would be best if this matter could be investigated, but if not, he did not intend to be a busybody. This matter had come to an end. I will definitely get to the bottom of this matter, and bring those B***stards to justice. Mu Tianfang clenched her fists angrily. Su Yu admired her, but did not think highly of her. A master who could make Zhou Jing, a former Phoenix woman, willingly serve her and infiltrate the Yao family for 3 years, was definitely not a simple person. Mu Tianfang might not be able to handle it. Thinking for some time, Su Yu secretly carved the words, Zhou Jing, on a jade pendant, and silently stuffed it into Mu Tianfang's sleeves. Even though she was a little foolish, she should have some clues about how Su Yu had chased Zhou Jing and ended up in the bloody firewood shed. Forget it, let's admire the moon now. Mu Tianfang raised a cup of wine, downing it in one gulp. Guests, the moonlight is a little disappointing. Why don't we have some fun? Saying this, Mu Tianfang took out a handkerchief from her robes. The handkerchief was snow white, with 2 colorful mandarin ducks embroidered on it. Once taken out, the handkerchief released a strange fragrance. That was the fragrance of a woman. But it was as fresh as a white lotus. Taking a light breath, one would not have any evil thoughts, only an indescribable respect. It was as if the crowd was looking at a white lotus, something they could only look at from afar. Many of the youths present smelled the fragrance, but none of them had any thoughts of delinquency. Zhong Luan was dazed for a moment, and could not help but praise, what a holy aura! In this world, whose fragrance could contain such a holy aura? Su Yu was shocked. Decree of divine decree? And divine grade at that? The reason the crowd felt a boundless holiness was due to the influence of the formless divine decree. Among those present, apart from Su Yu, no one could resist the influence of such a holy divine decree. Because he was the only person who possessed a divine grade divine decree. Ever since he had started cultivating, this was the first time Su Yu had encountered a fighter other than himself who possessed a divine grade divine decree. Who was the owner of the handkerchief? This holy aura, could it be? Deep within Zhou Yanqian's pupils burned with passion. Mu Tianfang smiled. Looks like I don't have to say. You already know who the owner of the handkerchief is. That's right, it is the personal handkerchief of the first Phoenix woman, Feng Xian. Hearing this, the expressions of the many youths changed. Many of them pretended to be calm, but they could not tear their eyes away from the handkerchief. Many pairs of eyes were burning with longing. Jiang Mufei smiled as she surveyed the surroundings, noticing that Zhong Luan was also smiling as he looked at the handkerchief. She could not help but reveal a displeased expression, pouting, "That woman is even more coquettish than a vixen. She calls herself the first saint of the North Continent, noble and holy, unprecedented. I think she's just a vixen." Zhong Luan smiled as he shook his head. "Mu Fei, slandering someone like that is beneath you. Feng Xian is indeed as pure as ice and as clean as jade, pure beyond compare. It is rumored that after she came out of seclusion, an auspicious sign descended from the heavens. A unicorn with the bloodline of an immortal spirit appeared and became her mount. The unicorn was born from the heavens and is a spiritual being. There is only one in the entire Zhenlong continent. It only likes to get close to holy objects. Since ancient times, this is the first time a unicorn has gotten close to a human. It can be seen that Feng Xian's purity is unparalleled. There was such a rumor? Su Yu was stunned. In just a year, Xian'er had transformed from a lively and adorable fairy into a noble saint? Thinking about this, Su Yu looked forward to reuniting with Xian'er and witnessing her transformation. I was just saying. Jiang Mufei pouted, unconvinced, but she is too proud of her status. Could it be that she wants to use a handkerchief as a reward for the winner of the sparring match? If all the men agreed to that, they would be too useless. Leader Mu, may I ask if this is a reward for sparring? If it is, I am willing to be the first to spar. Mu Tianfang had a faint smile as she nodded. Of course it is. Hearing this, the rest of the youths were excited. TSK. Li Shulin, do you think it is your turn to be the first to spar? In my hands, you would not even last 20 moves. This handkerchief belongs to me, Guo Huding. Wait. Immortal Realm Level 3 lower tier people like you do not have the right to covet Feng Xian's handkerchief. An Immortal Realm Level 3 upper tier fighter left his seat with a whooshing sound and stood at the center of the banquet. Zhang Xiling, what are you being so arrogant for? This is not a place for you to behave atrociously. Miss Feng Xian's belongings cannot be tarnished by people like you. Watch me. Another Immortal Realm Level 3 upper tier jumped into the middle of the arena. In the blink of an eye, the full moon stage was in an uproar. All for a handkerchief from Feng Xian. You bunch of useless men, you are infuriating. Jiang Mufei clenched her teeth in anger, slamming the table and standing up. All of you get down. Other than me, no one else can have this handkerchief. Once Jiang Mufei entered the arena, the entire place was silent. She, a woman, had come to fight for Feng Xian's handkerchief, shocking everyone. But what made everyone hold their breaths was Jiang Mufei's abilities. She was the second heavenly king of the Xintian manor. With her reputation, who dared to belittle her? Zhang Xiling and the other person returned to their table resentfully, their faces filled with dissatisfaction. In the hands of Jiang Mufei, they would not be able to last more than a few moves. Raising her head proudly, Jiang Mufei's eyes flashed. She looked towards Su Yu, a faint smile on her face. Brother Yin, do you want Miss Feng Xian's handkerchief? Su Yu did not know whether to laugh or cry. Her first opponent was him. Just now, she had said that she wanted to spar with Su Yu. She had found an opportunity so quickly. Without any hesitation, Su Yu stood up. All right. I will accept your challenge. I do not wish for other men to lay their hands on Xian'er's belongings. Even though it was only a handkerchief, it would make others feel uncomfortable if it was obtained by another man. Especially those filthy people who held onto the handkerchief and lusted after Xian'er's beauty. It was better to stop such disgusting acts. Zhong Luan put down the teacup in his hands, his expression solemn. That's fine too. I would also like to see the true abilities of a legendary genius. In no time, everyone's attention was on them, many of them excited.